My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks, and it's a special edition on a Monday afternoon. Jakey boy and I are going to break down the entire UFC Vegas 105 fight card, giving you our picks, our predictions, our bets, and our DraftKings plays. But before we look forward, let's look backwards. UFC Mexico was a great card for the boys. I went 10-2 on picks, and the only really picks I got wrong was Christian Rodriguez, and I've never picked a C-Rod fight correctly. And Vince Pichel, you could argue he won that fight. I don't think he did, but he certainly should have hit that 3.5. Overall, UFC Mexico was a spectacular fight card. 31% ROI from the boys. More than 6 units of net profit from the boys. UFC Mexico did all the things, and let's hope UFC Vegas 105 does as well. If you do want to check out all the picks, all the bets, all the tools, WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. And here's a couple of tickets from the community. The community did really well also. We were getting DMs. People were sharing $7,000 DraftKings fantasy tickets. A whole bunch of stuff. I'm proud of you guys. You did it. You all did it. We all had a great card and absolutely love straightforward nights like that. If you do become a premium member, if you go to WeWantPicks.com and you click become a member, you'll have access to everything. It's not just a handful of copy-paste bets. That ain't it, dog. We got tools. One of those tools is the DraftKings Optimizer. This will build lineups for you. A couple clicks of the button, and it will build lineups for you. And if you don't know how to use an optimizer, we coded from scratch a brand new beginner mode that'll just walk you through a series of questions. Hey, who's your favorite? Hey, what underdogs do you think do well? Hey, anybody you don't want in your lineup at all? You answer a few questions, boom. All the lineups that you could want or need. We also have a fight simulator that simulates fights 100,000 times. And in those 100,000 fight simulations, it's bringing in all sorts of historical data like grappling stats and striking stats. And it uses that information, it simulates those fights, and then it spits out all sorts of information that you could use to place some bets, or you can use it to build DraftKings fantasy lineups. We also have a tool called the Data Analyzer. If you are a data nerd and you like to deep dive, you like to look at the stats, you like to do that, well, we have a tool called the Data Analyzer, and it's not just for this card. It is built out for the future. If you want to get ahead of lines, if you want to start doing your research well in advance, I think this goes well past UFC 315. Every single fight on those cards, every single fighter, all of their historical data, and all of their fights. You click one button and the fight pops up. You watch the fights. You can do your own tape study. You can add, remove filters, and you can really deep dive to find prop bets, to do research ahead of time. Anything you could want or need. WeWantPicks.com. Everything we do, what?
Someone said Jacob was dog shit Mexico card.
Jacob's bets did well.
I literally was up the most.
Yeah, your bets did really well. It's weird that they hate you like that. Why do you think that is? Like, what do you think about you that this person just hates? Oh, this person sucks too. Is this the person that said something to you? Because I'll happily ban them. Happily ban them. It would bring me joy. The other thing that brought me joy is when this weekend, right before the fights, Joe Pyfer and Kelvin Gastelum fight was canceled. You can see, this is a screenshot of my phone.
And I told you guys that dude's a fucking douchebag pussy. Before the week even started, I told you guys, I can't stand fucking Joe Pyfer. I knew the type of guy he fucking was. Then he gets a fucking sniffle. He gets a little upset tummy when he wakes up. He's like, oh, I can't fight fucking Kelvin Gastelum now. And then he goes on that fucking rant. I told you guys, the kind of, I can read. Nobody reads people better than me. And I told you guys, that guy's a fucking loser.
The funniest part, this dude said Angelo's build reminds me of Torrez Finney. Maybe the fucking girth. Sheer rock solidness. All right, I'm just going to start. Anybody with the fat jokes, you're just getting timed out. Fucking. Here's one. Timeout. Bye-bye. Starting now. You'll see the timestamp on my cell phone. 12:16. We pushed out that push notification. That's an important distinction because that gave you enough time to adjust your DraftKings fantasy lineups, take a look at your bets, and do all the things. And without the app, you wouldn't have gotten that push notification. Maybe you were playing with the kids. Maybe you were taking a nap. Maybe you were doing something and you weren't keeping up with the news. Well, we got you covered. Download the app. Go to the App Store, search We Want Picks. The app is not just for premium members. It's literally for anybody and everybody. If you're a premium member, you'll get notifications like the one we sent out today that said, Jacob is placing bets live right now. Go check them out. Because he was throwing bets at the board. Or Saturday, whether you were a premium member or not, you got the notification letting you know that that fight was canceled. On that Pyfer thing real quick, his rant is crazy. Like, I understand maybe he got sick. Actually, Josh and I filmed a hot take or a bad take on the Joe Pyfer situation. He had a pretty good theory about, he's like, it may not have been food poisoning. It could have been this. Solid theory. But the funniest part is that rant. Like, I understand if you were throwing up all night.
Panic attack?
Vaginosis. It's crazy.
Well, he literally has had mental health issues and stuff before.
Yeah.
He's talked about, so he could have just woke up and had a fucking panic attack.
He said He said it could be elevation sickness. He's at elevation, 8,000 feet. He's running, trying to cut weight, doing all the things.
2 months.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not, but the weight cut and all that stuff. But because that would just go into the theory because everybody's like, nobody else on his team got sick. It's only him. How is that possible? So anyway,
it's very possible that he just didn't get sick at all, and it was just he woke up and was just like, oh,
fuck this, yeah,
oh
I'm
god,
done.
you know, it's fucking.
What is? Listen, let's assume he was telling the truth, right? He was sick, he's throwing up, he's shitting his brains out. It's bad. I can't fight. It's bad. I get it. You do what you got to do. Then film the video with only the first half of like, here's what happened, guys.
Post a picture of your diarrhea and your puke on your IG. Very easy. Have your team film you. Why wouldn't your team, if I'm throwing up, guess what I'm doing? Hey, can somebody film me fucking throwing up right now? Because I guarantee when I fucking pull out of this fight, there's going to be a lot of questions, this and this and this. But if you have a video of me puking and sit on the toilet and listen to the fucking diarrhea, it's like a lot of questions are answered. A very easy thing to do. No pictures of the diarrhea. No pictures of him throwing up. We got to assume he woke up and was like, oh shit, Kelvin Gastelum.
I'm fighting a fire hydrant. Yeah. All right, listen, that's a very plausible theory at this point. There's nothing to prove otherwise. What is funny, though, the rant. There was no reason to rant. You literally could have been like, here's what happened. Sick as shit, throwing up, hoping I'd be okay. I'm not okay. Kelvin's too good to do like this. We'll be fine in a couple weeks. Let's do it then. Instead, it was like, F Mexico, F the people. I'm never fighting this trash country again. It's like, dude, what?
It's the whole... That's what everything has just turned into. It's what Twitter's turned into. It's how engagements turn into. It's just all rage, just fucking... hate. It's so fucking tiring from like all angles, but you have to be controversial. You have to be, and even Charles Johnson put a tweet out, I think last night or the night before, whatever. And he's like, why is it that American fans don't seem to get behind American athletes unless you are like that controversial figure and stuff? And it's like, unfortunately, that's what people engage with. That's what the eyes go to. You have to be that guy, because if you're just like a genuine nice guy, people are like, oh, okay, well, you know, we don't really give a shit, but let's talk about Joe Pyfer because he said fuck Mexico and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It is a shame, but I mean, that's what it's turned into. And I think half of it is he wanted to be that guy that's like, fuck Mexico, you know, this, you know, all that stuff to his name out there. And I think half of it's because he's just a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, if he's healthy and Kelvin's healthy, there's no reason to not just do this fight in a couple of weeks. Kansas City, wherever the hell they're going. And that is what you're going to get here. If you become a premium member right now, you go to WeWantPicks.com, you click 2 buttons. It's $10 for an entire month. And that month will give you access to UFC Vegas 105, UFC 314 next weekend. Spectacular pay-per-view card. And then we have the Jamal Hill Khalil Roundtree fight. There's one person saying that fight might be off. Nobody else. We'll see what ends up happening. Either way, we have that fight card. That's not at the Apex. Is that in Kansas City? I feel like they were just...
What's the Des Moines?
It's not Des Moines. I think it's Kansas City, but it's like they were just in Kansas City. It's something like that.
Kansas City, Missouri. Not Kansas.
Oh, that is crazy. That fight card could use a Kelvin Gastelum, Joe Pyfer boost. It could also use some picks, some bets, and some tools. So if you become a premium member today, you'll unlock all of it clean through. It is Kansas City. Clean through. It's an entire month. So today is, what's today? March 31st. You will have full access till April 31st. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. And here's the address if you want to send something for the vlog. There will be a vlog for UFC 314. I got a package today. I think it's coffee. I can't really tell. We've got a letter from somebody named Haywood Jablomey. I don't know what's going to be in that letter. We got all sorts of crazy stuff to open for the vlog. And if you want to send something, the address is P.O. Box 406, Prosper, Texas, 75078. We do have a lonely super chat from Santiago Mendez. He says, Jacob, my lady came home smelling like balloon. Help. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Santiago, what is smelling like a... Like, did she fuck a clown? What are you worried about? Smelling like balloon. Please elaborate. Thank you for the super chat. Please elaborate. I am now very curious. You have any words for the people before we break down this card, Jakey boy?
I don't think so. I think we can get this done in about 34 minutes.
Well, coming off of last week's 3-hour breakdown, it should be a nice change of pace for the boys. Opening up the UFC Vegas 105 fight card, we have Loma Lookboonmee taking on Istela Nunes. Loma Lookboonmee, 9-3 in her career, 4-1 in her last 5. She is riding a 3-fight win streak. She's taking on Istela Nunes, 6-5 in her career, 1-4 in her last 5. She's coming off that freak injury loss 2 full years ago. Loma Lookboonmee might be the biggest favorite on the card, or if she's not, she's tied as the biggest favorite on the card. And she's a very good fighter. Very good Muay Thai striker. She's got good volume. She's tiny as shit. Her and Torrez Finney are like the same height. They're both 5'1". They're super small for the division. She's undersized for sure, but she still has power. She's shown that she is more than just a striker. We watched her out-wrestle former Lock of the Week champion Sam Hughes. We watched her out-wrestle Denise Gomes. We've seen her out-wrestle Elise Reed. Combined 6 takedowns in those fights. And while her takedowns have improved quite a bit, if she gets taken down, she's not quite as good off her back as she is on top. She's coming off that pot shot win over a very big Bruna Brazil, which made it 3 in a row. She's taken on the returning Istela Nunes. She is 0-4 in the UFC, has not won a UFC fight just yet. Pretty rough go out of it. And she only has 11 UFC fights. What the hell's her record? 6-5. Yeah, see, look at that math. Rain Man. She only has 11 MMA fights, but she does have a ton of kickboxing experience. She started as a professional kickboxer and then transitioned to MMA. She's very fast, good power, incredibly versatile striking offensively. If you ignore her actual MMA record and you just watch her compete, you just look at the fights, you ignore the nonsense, and you ignore the last fight where her arm snapped in half, you'll see she's pretty dangerous. She comes forward. She tries to make things happen. She's a fighter that will fight. She's not afraid to engage. The problem is giant grappling holes. She's coming off that freak injury loss where she braced incorrectly off a takedown and her elbow just like literally clean snapped in half. She's supposed to fight a few weeks ago, but visa issues had that fight bumped. Loma has had quite the evolution in the UFC. Tiny little striker turned into a tiny little mixed martial artist. The ability to shoot a takedown if she needs to in this fight is going to be huge. She should be able to outstrike Istela, but in case she can't, at least she has a backup plan. That's why Loma's a tremendous favorite. That's why Loma's the pick. I will say these odds are getting crazier and crazier because, yes, Istela is winless in the UFC, but she doesn't suck. The last fight was a freak injury loss. She's got power. She's got striking. And Loma is tiny. If Istela is just a bully in her face, letting her hands fly, this could get dicey. Minus 700 should be the favorite. It's just starting to get a little wide. What do you think, Jakey Boombaloots?
Yeah, I like Istela Nunes. She is a former Lock of the Week. I had her as Lock of the Week versus Dudakova. Obviously, what happened. Last week, or UFC London, whatever it was, she was matched up against Molly McCann. I had already placed a future bet on Istela Nunes to beat Molly McCann. That was going to be some of the best odds of the year. She was like a plus 375 or plus 325 or something to Molly McCann. She is a very high-level striker. She trains with high-level people. This is an ATT girl. She's getting good looks in the gym, all the good coaching. She's been around that gym for a long time and has definitely had a rough go of things, but she is a competent striker, really fast with her hands. Not a ton of power, obviously. She's a small girl herself, but a lot of speed, in her footwork. When you look at a girl like Loma in the striking, Loma's going to be my pick. she should win this fight, right? Because she does have the backup wrestling, and she is probably the more technical striker. But a lot of times in Loma fights, it takes her a little bit of time to build into the fight. She's got that typical Muay Thai style, which is just kind of plot forward, wait for you to throw, and she's going to throw a little bit harder. Wait for you to throw, and she's going to throw a little bit harder. And then as the fight progresses, she will start building combination of that. You throw, and then it's pop, pop, pop. The Muay Thai style. And what I worry about a little bit too is if this starts turning into a tit-for-tat situation, the striking, and that's all it really is, this comes down to a judge's decision because Loma is a girl that doesn't really hurt people. She doesn't have big moments, right? Her strikes are fast and she'll pop a nice kick or she'll pop like a lead kick or a nice little combination, but she's not hurting girls and she's not having those wow moments. So if this is tit for tat, it comes down to the judges being like, I don't really know. And he talked about going to the backup of the wrestling. She doesn't really shoot takedowns. It's a lot of Muay Thai trip type wrestling. So if she gets in the clinch, she can grab you, she can clinch you, she can trip you. There's Muay Thai clinches, and she can do stuff like that. Istela is very quick with her footwork. She's in, she's out, she's left, she's right. So if you're relying on these kind of clinch takedowns, a clinch position may never happen. Istela could just dance around the entire time. So Loma is the better fighter. Obviously a striker coming off a 2-year layoff. It's going to take Istela some time as well to kind of work into the fight. And I think by the time they both are working into the fight, Loma should have the better success on the feet. But I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking, if we're into the third round and people that have Loma and all these parlays are thinking, she won those rounds, right? Kind of questioning right? And she should get it done. I'm not saying that she's going to lose the fight. I like Loma, but, taking Istela lightly here could be interesting, I would say, because Loma, she's not a finisher, and Istela's good.
Yeah, it will be an interesting fight to watch. I mean, I think everybody collectively is on the Loma side. We are as well. Just be a little careful. Be a little careful. Minus 700 starting to get into crazy territory here. $9,500 in DraftKings Fantasy for Loma Lookboonmee. If you don't know what that is, you get a budget. You draft 5 fighters or 6 fighters with that budget. You then take that lineup that you built with those 6 fighters within that budget and you compete against other people. Sometimes for money, sometimes for fun. Do not spend $9,500 on Loma Lookboonmee. She's not going to win by finish here. I think the over makes a lot of sense in this fight because, to your point, Loma's not a finisher. And she likely has to grapple or will end up grappling after a couple of close striking exchanges. So I don't really see a fight here where Loma's going to spark Istela and drop her and knock her out and finish her, especially a high-level striker. So I'm not going to spend that $9,500. I'm probably not going to spend the $67 either, but certainly not the $9,500. If you do want to unlock all the picks, the bets, and the tools, including the artificial intelligence, which had a spectacular UFC Mexico, you can do so now. Go to WeWantPicks.com. You click Become a Member. It's $10 a month. I cannot express enough how little $10 is. Jacob, I think we're going to start a series where we ask people, what's the dumbest thing you spent $10 on? And we just read off our favorite ones because it's only $10 for an entire month's worth of access. Here's $5 from B. I hit that Emmers KO round 1 this weekend. That was a Jakey Boy prop bet, wasn't it? It was. I enjoyed the back and forth on Twitter during the fights, Jacob. Salute. Thank you so much.
David round 1 as well.
There you go. You had your prop bets were actually really super good. Nice props, Jake. Next up, at UFC Vegas 105, we have, what are you making faces for?
I don't know. You're kind of fucking annoying me.
What's up your ass?
I feel good. I'm good. It was a good week. I feel good.
So then how am I annoying you? Just existing? Were you a woman?
I think so.
It's just your face. Something about your fucking face. Next up, at UFC Vegas 105, we have Vanessa Demopoulos taking on Talita Alencar. Vanessa Demopoulos, 11-6 in her career. She is 3-2 in her last 5. She's coming off that controversial loss to Jacqueline Amorim, taking on Talita Alencar. 5-1 in her very young career. 3-1-1 in her last 5. She's coming off that decision loss to Stephanie Luciano. Vanessa Demopoulos has been the split decision queen, squeaking out the close ones, but that wasn't the case in her last fight. In her last fight, she was going back and forth with Jacqueline Amorim. She complained to the ref, hey, she's grabbing the inside of my glove. The ref said, I don't give a shit. And then she went ahead and got submitted after that and immediately protested.
You know the best part about that is, what? I think it was Cruz and Bisping on the call, and they were both like, Cruz was like, no, she just got her wrist, and Bisping's like, yeah, it looks like, you just got to fight through that. She just got her wrist. It was like the most clear penalty. It was the most, literally like all 4 of her fingers were like hooked inside the glove right when she was about to sweep. It was a nasty sweep she was hitting. She just needed to get that arm through, and literally couldn't because she was getting her fucking glove fucking grabbed, and the Cruz was like, you just got to work through it. It's like, no, dumbass, fucking can't work through it.
Yeah. And I felt bad for her because she instantly protested, and like they really just did not give a shit at all, which is an unfortunate situation, especially now when we have instant replay. And when we saw the Song Yadong Henry Cejudo fight where they retroactively called the fight. They let the fight continue for another full minute and then went back in time and said, that's part of the deal. We're good here. That's part of that. We'll just call the fight here. Could have done the same for Vanessa, but it is what it is. She didn't squeak out another razor-thin decision, and maybe she had some MMA karma coming her way. But overall, she's a solid striker. She's going to hang out in the pocket. She doesn't have really any power at all, but she does have good volume, good footwork. If it does get to the ground, she's got good grappling as well, and she can make some things happen. Takedown defense is pretty low at 27%. It might get tested in this fight. She's taking on Talita Alencar, accomplished grappler. She transitioned to MMA a few years ago. She comes out absolutely guns blazing. She chases takedowns. She's looking to get to the ground immediately. And once she does get it to the ground, she's very busy. She gets her striking going. She looks for submissions. She'll establish her positions. And even though she is a very accomplished grappler, many times she's not chasing submissions. She will settle in, loosen you up, and if it's there, it's there. Takedowns are not very good. She does rely on that strength to get it to the ground. Her striking is also not very good. So if she can't get it to the ground, she's going to always be at a disadvantage. And I think this is a Vanessa pick all day long. The other day when I broke this down, Vanessa was a slight favorite. And if she flips to a full-blown underdog, just like the breakdown I did with Manuel Torrez last week, then I'll bet on her. My one and only concern for Vanessa is the fact that she may get taken down. Her takedown defense absolutely sucks. But she's durable. She's got the good striking. She's the better overall fighter here, so I think she can absolutely get it done. Vanessa Demopoulos is going to be the pick. No bet yet because I'm watching the line. The line is moving in my favor, and if it continues to, then I'll sit it out, and as soon as there's a plus in front of it, I might throw something down. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I definitely was looking at the Vanessa side. I think even when I was laying out my lock of the week plan, when I was at like 3 or 4 or something, I sent you and web guy Josh a text that basically was like a week by week who I was going to have as a lock of the week to get to 12 in a row. Obviously, Julia didn't lose the fight, just ran out of time. She was going to win that fight. There's no doubt about that. Was breaking Loopy down. But Vanessa was going to be the lock of the week this week. And then I started looking at film and stuff, and I'm like, man, the way that Talita was fighting a girl that's like fucking 7-8 inches taller than her and like a way better striker than Vanessa Demopoulos, and still able to land some good shots, was still able to get a few takedowns. Obviously got a few more in the first fight than the second fight. Even that Rayanne fight or whatever was able to get those takedowns as well. Vanessa is just such a girl that's so easy to take down. And those girls were a little bit bigger than Vanessa. Obviously, what's her name was way bigger. And Rayanne is a little bit nastier than Vanessa as far as like trying to get back to her feet. So she wasn't able to control girls as well as I think she can control Vanessa. So you saw Jacqueline was, basically just doing whatever she wanted with Vanessa in that fight. And Vanessa is a girl that knows how to stay safe, right? She's a very high level girl on the ground, very flexible in all aspects. Obviously, we met her at 303, the whatever it was, and fantastic girl. You, a married man, was very handsy with her, which is a little bit surprising.
You know what's annoying about this? I had in my quick picks, I had the picture of me holding her up, and I even had an arrow to where my hand was not touching her body. And now you're saying this, and I didn't include it in this presentation, so I don't have that picture to defend myself.
Well, pictures are pictures, but when you were there live, I was like, oh God, like this is, oof. Like thank God Tiffany is not here. And
that was my favorite part of that. That picture went on Twitter, and
I bet it was your favorite. It seemed like it was a favorite part.
No, my favorite part. You
spent the rest of the trip like you would every once in a while you'd be like, dude, look, and I'd be like, yeah, dude, I was there. You'd be like, dude, look, no, look, look.
Dude, none of this is true, and the fact, and the lack of sarcasm understanding that most people have.
Do you have wedding pictures?
Yeah.
Can I see them? Do you have one? Because I want to see if you smile like this. And look at the hand.
Look at the hand. Hovering. Not that one.
Hovering.
The other one. Move your phone. That one.
This
hovering.
one's on the titty.
No, it isn't, dude. She leapt into my arms, and I'm very strong, so I had to hold.
This is the weirdo hover hand. This is the hand that should be hovering. This is I'm copping a feel currently.
There was no feel copped, and she enjoyed.
I have never seen you smile like that.
You've never seen me at a Chinese buffet. It's only smiles like that.
Here's how you respect women. Very easy. Little hand. There you go.
Show your feet. Show that you're on your tippy toes.
Yeah,
Show.
I bet.
Show.
See, just very normal, right? By the way, Angelo's popcorn bucket that I'm holding for him because he's embarrassed to fucking
that's bullshit.
Carry it around.
You love popcorn. It's an odd obsession. Who do you think wins this fight, Jacob? Did you make your
popcorn.
pick?
I mean, popcorn is fucking fantastic.
I love it too. It just rips my gums up though. It's always stuck in there.
This is obviously the odds are 100% correct. This is kind of a 50-50 fight. I have a bet on this fight, but it's just a little bit. I don't expect it to hit, but I don't expect it to lose as well. So you can go check that out. If there is a finish, I think it probably is on the Talita side, just in the grappling. She is technically the better grappler. I think she's a little bit stronger in the wrestling and just a stronger girl. So if she does get Vanessa down, which I think she can, I think she's able to control her for at least enough to win a couple rounds. And even in the striking, she's shown that even when she's tired, she does not quit. She does not give up. And I'm not saying Vanessa's a quitter at all, but it just seems like she's going to be the one moving forward. She's landing the harder shots, and she's probably going to get the takedown. So I like Talita here, and but Vanessa pulls it off. I'm going to be crazy surprised. She obviously works hard and stuff, but a lot of people don't like Vanessa because of her kind of Mickey Mouse decision resume. It seems like she always gets these kind of decision wins. But I saw a picture today that really, and I sent it to you guys, but for some reason she posted a picture today, and I was like, am I about to change my pick? And I'll show you the picture. And this is really more about, just kind of I didn't know she had this type of
kicking range.
Striking, I would say. So I saw this, and I was like, I'm trying to zoom into where she's landing on the pad. It's like a mirror, so it's like flip-flopped. I can't understand. I don't know what's going on. But, yeah, I saw that picture today, and I was like, am I going to pick Vanessa? But I'm going to stick with the Brazilian.
There you go. Yeah, I am on the Vanessa side. Like I said, I'll wait. If this line's going to continue to move, she was like minus 120 Sunday when I filmed, and now all of a sudden she's creeping even money. And if it continues to move, because there may be a lot of people, remember that 1 + 1 = 2 math we were doing for Jamal Evers? Jamal hits hard, his opponent has no chin. You're going to get a knockout. All right. Vanessa doesn't have good takedown defense. Talita's got great jiu-jitsu. Talita could submit Vanessa. I can understand that math, and if people keep jumping on that side, then I'm going to go ahead, wait for the plus money of Vanessa, and maybe throw a little something there. If you do want to check out every single bet we have already placed, if you want to check out the bets we are going to place, if you want to see it all for an entire month, including UFC 314, go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It's $10 for a whole month. No tiers. No bullshit tiers. There's websites shutting down left and right that tried that cheap-ass exploit the community tier model. $30 for DFS, another $20 for betting. No, it's $10 for literally everything. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. Johnny Castaneda, $20 super sticker. Johnny, I recognize the name because he spells Johnny
That's sexy
like
Mexi.
He spells it like a serial killer. That is why I remember this. The H in Johnny is nuts. Johnny Castaneda. Maybe it's Hani. That's a white dude in the picture. That looks like a Hani. That seems a little off. But anyway, Johnny Castaneda, he's the one who sent an email. I forget exactly what it said. It's on the previous slide in the beginning. He was like, right after the event, I crushed
If only
a huge
there was
ticket.
a way to
Okay,
go back to
hold
the
on.
slides,
Here we go.
If only there was an invention.
Here we go. It's this one on the left. You guys are the best in the space of sports. One big because of y'all. Definitely worth the membership. Member for life. And he won $6,000. So, Johnny, we appreciate you.
And that was a hippo doing this. So I think that was you doing victory.
Oh, okay. Johnny's banned. Fuck your money.
Hippopotamuses are one of the most, that's a compliment, Angelo. They're one of the most dangerous animals in the animal
They do
kingdom.
kill lots of people. You know what? And Gyron Mike.
Let's go, Dan. This is like the game of telephone. It keeps changing.
Yeah, it's thank you, Dan. We were thanking him. I wasn't cheering for him. I was thanking him.
Nobody. There was 4 other people that did that change.
People started cheering it, dude. Here's the context if you are new here. Jacob and I were at UFC 303. At UFC 303, Brian Ortega dropped an hour before the fight. An hour before his fight, he pulled out. And then we're hanging out.
We broke the news to the entire stadiums, essentially.
We did. I told Brandon Moreno in that video, he was shocked. He had complete, absolute shock in his face. And essentially what happened was, as you all know by now, dude dropped immediately.
Go ahead, you keep talking.
Okay. The dude dropped, Brian Ortega dropped, and they immediately, an hour before the co-main event or 3 hours before, whatever the hell it is, they announced that Dan Ige stepping in on short notice. He wasn't already on the card. He lives in the neighborhood. And he was like, fuck it, I'll fight. Shows up, weighs in. We get to keep our co-main event. So I wanted to be there and show appreciation for the man that saved half of the card.
Here you go. Listen here. This is Angelo after fucking. This had been 15 drinks. I mean, it's a co-main event. we got technically free drinks in the VIP, so we're just slamming drinks. So this is just me and Angelo sitting there in here. I think in the first round of the Diego fight, he had already tried to start the chant once, or whatever. But so this is just me and him talk. I'm filming the fight, and we're just talking.
See what happens here.
Hold on, let me rewind it.
Throw that other hook in.
He's got Danny Gay on the ground.
He's so good that he didn't finish a dude on 2 hours notice.
All right, well,
So
keep filming now. See what happens here.
And Angelo's pissed.
See what happens here.
Already annoyed.
The Danny Ige hate is fucking bizarre to me. Guy saved the card. Show him some fucking respect.
Yeah, well, he's getting fucking smoked.
Is he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. It's pretty clear.
Cool. Would you have been happier if there was no fight at all?
I'm happy that I'm getting my $1,000 back. I wish we would have smoked fucking.
But that's already done. So now it's just weird. Dude, this was a full debate.
I'm weird energy because my favorite fighter's winning.
Correct. You don't appreciate the guy that stepped up on 2 hours ago so you could watch your favorite
Fuck
fight.
that dude. Getting fucking smoked.
He's not getting smoked.
All right.
One judge saw the
Well,
other.
he just got finished.
Did he?
Yeah, here you go. Count to 10. I guarantee he's finished. Count to 10.
2, 3, 4.
That's a quick 10.
5.
It's a quick 10.
2 Mississippis, if you don't mind.
9 Mississippi. 10
He just
Mississippi. 11 Mississippi.
It's so funny. Let's see if I can find the thank you, Dan. But that was essentially Angelo was not very happy.
I was not, because I tried to do a thank you, Dan chant to show the appreciation for the gentleman who saved the co-main event, and you heard Jacob's nasty comments.
Dude, the whole point was I liked Diego. I was rooting for Diego, and every time I would root for Diego, you'd be like, I can't believe you'd be rooting for him. I'm like, well, I can't root for my fighter? No, you can't, because this guy saved the card. I'm like,
no, I didn't
for my
say you
favorite
can't
fighter.
root. You were rooting against the man.
No,
who
rooting for
saved the card.
Diego.
Well, either way. Thank you, Dan chant caught on pretty well. Guru's pubic hair. I fuck with you guys heavily. Keep it up. Okay. Thank you. Pubic hair. Appreciate it. Let's move on while Jakey Boy looks for that video. Oop. Next up, at UFC Vegas 105, we have homeless-looking Victor Henry taking on Pedro Falcao. Victor Henry, 24-7 in his career, 2-2-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that submission loss to Charles Jourdain. He's taking on Pedro Falcao, 16-4 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off his first loss since 2015. And Victor Henry is a decent fighter. He's a pretty well-rounded guy. He can do all the things. Come forward striker for the most part. Wide variety of attacks. He's going to come forward. He's going to plot. He's going to use the head movement to avoid the big punches, and he's going to counter along the way. At range, he'll throw head kicks. Inside the pocket, he'll throw elbows. He'll throw knees. He's got a ton of variety. He mixes it all together really well. He is getting up there in age, though. He is...
Thank you, Dan.
The only one yelling it.
That's a good chance. No, he caught on. Anyway, Victor Henry, well-rounded guy, can do all the things. and he can put it all together nicely. He is getting up there in age, as I mentioned. We haven't quite seen him full-blown slow down just yet, but I imagine it's a quick turn when he does. He is coming off that submission loss to Charles Jourdain, where the striking was not good, but he had plenty of takedowns. He's taking on Pedro Falcao. This guy is a grappler at heart. He looks to drag you to the ground. He wants to work in a submission. He does have some power in the hands, but I think that he thinks he's a striker when in reality, it's sloppy as shit. It's really there just to set up those takedowns. He's definitely a dangerous guy, but he's been pretty inactive. He's coming off that UFC debut loss where he stepped up on 3 days' notice, but he's still set a really nice pace. I wanted to pick Pedro here. As soon as I saw it, I saw my notes from the previous fight. Every time I watch a fight, if I'm in front of my computer, I take notes. Just my thoughts right then in the moment. And my notes on Pedro were not the better fighter, but a short notice 3-day fight, set a pace, in great shape. And the fact that he was in great shape on 3 days' notice and was able to set a pace. And now it's a full camp against a 37-year-old. I was like, I want to go Pedro. I want to pick Pedro as a dog. And then I watch the tape. I look at it. The problem is, even though that Victor is a little bit older, he does have some juice left. He is a proven entity. And the reality is, Pedro is just too damn sloppy on the feet. And I don't know if the takedowns are going to be good enough. Victor Henry does have some pretty good takedown defense. Victor Henry's also one of the most inconsistent. He went out there, beat 5-time Brazilian national champion, and then 2 fights later fights a 40-year-old and has nothing to offer. So Victor's a little unreliable. I am going to be on the Victor side. These odds were gone 2 months ago. Minus 205 is crazy. This is a much closer fight than that, but I am going to pick him to win. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I think the thing you need to know about this fight, the inside the distance decisional action bet, it opened at minus 200 for Pedro. It's basically just telling you that he's definitely the more dangerous fighter in this matchup. And if it goes, the distance, they expect Victor Henry to probably win. But I kind of disagree with that. Obviously, I think Pedro's got the finishing upside. Like a third-degree black belt, Angelo mentioned, stepped up on 3 days' notice. Not only did he step up on 3 days' notice, but he made weight. Right, a lot of people that are taking these short notice fights, they either don't try to really make the weight, they ask for a catch weight. Guy came in, short notice, made the weight, came into the fight, tried to shoot the takedowns against a very, very dangerous Victor Hugo. I mean, that was not a slouch that he's fighting. That guy is dangerous on the feet. He is dangerous with submissions. He can get you in weird positions. A very dangerous guy. And when the takedowns weren't working and it looked like it was going to be like, oh, here we go. Like they even mentioned on the broadcast, like it looks like he's just trying to go all in the first round, see what happens. If it doesn't happen, it is what it is. But he's trying to find a finish in the first round. It looked like that was going to happen. You expected him to fade in the second or third. A finisher and Victor Hugo was going to take over, finish this guy, and you probably weren't going to hear about Pedro ever again. And all of a sudden, Pedro just keeps working and just keeps working. He's the one moving forward. He's walking through shots. And he's continuing to shoot takedowns. Shot 13 fucking takedowns. Had over 7 minutes of control in that fight because even when he wasn't getting the takedowns, he understood the situation of, let me just hold him here and try to work this position instead of getting back to space because I know I can't, I'm a little bit gassed because it is short notice. And that was a 29-28. There was a 30-27 on one scorecard. But, I mean, he came in, was pushing that pace. And if a couple of those rounds go, a couple situations, he comes out of that fight with a win on 3 days' notice. So I'm watching this guy, and I'm like, holy shit. He gets a full camp. He gets a couple takedowns. He gets on the back or whatever. Victor Henry, that's all it takes to win a couple rounds. I mean, this guy is a very high-level grappler. And Victor Henry, I know he's got good takedown defense and all this stuff, but he's not really a dangerous guy. And I think Pedro is going to be the one moving forward. He's going to be the one pushing the pace. And even if he's not getting the takedowns, you even saw with the Rani Yahya fight. Rani Yahya was able to push Victor Henry against the fence. Now, Victor Henry against Rani Yahya was able to get those underhooks, circle off, get back to space, and do that, and he was able to finish a guy like Rani Yahya. But Pedro's shown against a dangerous, strong Victor Hugo that he can, even when he's gassed on 3 days' notice, at least hold people against the fence. So even if he's not getting the takedowns, I think he can get a lot of fucking control on Victor Henry on a full camp, holding him against the fence. And then the apex with those judges, it's kind of a crapshoot, but I'll take a shot here and go with Pedro because I think he's got the finishing upside. I think he's got the control upside against the fence. Victor's not a dangerous guy. And if push comes to shove, I've seen Pedro dog shit out. I mean, he was dead tired, moving forward, still trying to do shit on a full camp. I think he's the better grappler. He's going to get a couple takedowns, get the control, could find a finish, high-level guy. So I'm going Pedro here. I'm going with, feels like a Brazilian card to me, but I'm going Pedro.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, especially at these odds, it's not the wrong side. Maybe a plus 3.5 play. I'll have to check those odds out because I wanted to outright pick them. I decided not to.
Minus 190.
Yeah, see, there's the problem. That's always so funny to me. So he's a 2-1 underdog, but they're pretty damn sure he's going to win a round. Like, then how is he the 2-1 dog? Those odds are always so crazy.
They think it's going to look like last fight. Come in, win the first round, blow his load, get tired, and then Victor's going to win the next 2 rounds. But if he wins that first round, and he doesn't look, even if he looks gassed, I mean, he almost dogged out a couple more rounds in the Hugo fight. So I think he's definitely going to win that first round, and you better be careful. He wins that second round, and Victor Henry all of a sudden needs a finish. It's like Pedro's not a guy you really finish. So
yeah, it'll be. I'll have to explore some of those prop bets there. I do think Pedro's probably the side as far as betting is concerned. Victor Henry, in my mind, wins because of the very good takedown defense. But the reality is this is a razor-thin fight, and these odds were long gone a while ago. If you do want to check out all the bets that we have right now ready to go, if you do want to get push notifications to your phone with those bets, become a premium member. Go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It's $10. If you hate it, cancel. It's $10 for an entire month. Next week is UFC 314, what on paper is the best fight card of the year. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. Couple of super chatterooskies. $1.99 from Next Lennon. Buy premium, boys. It's making me rich. We making money now. We appreciate you, Lennon. And then Riff Raff, the wildly generous, insanely supportive Riff Raff said, I'm assuming that's $3,800 taking 4th place on DraftKings Fantasy using the We Want Picks optimizer. I have been positive money every week since the homegrown version came out. Ironically, it was Loopy's optimal score that kept me off of 1st place as I didn't have her in my cards. Thanks, We Want Picks. Riff Raff, thank you for A, the money, B, the incredible support over the last few years. I looked up in my office because we have more than one amazing gift that you have sent us. So we appreciate you for everything, and I'm glad the tools are working out well for you. If you're wondering what the hell he's talking about, the homegrown optimizer, we built a DraftKings Fantasy optimizer from scratch. We coded it from scratch. The previous one was a lease. This one was a build. We built it from scratch, added a few little bells and whistles, and continue to make enhancements with the feedback, so I'm glad it's working out for you. Jacob's showing off the Venom hoodie there, the UFC Venom hoodie. Riff Raff had those custom made for me and Jakey boy. So we appreciate you, Riff Raff, man.
Hangs on my chair. Appreciate you, Riff Raff.
Yeah, genuinely wildly supportive. Next up, at UFC Vegas 105, we have Rhys McKee taking on Daniel Frunza. Rhys McKee, 13-6 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He is looking for his first UFC win. He's taking on Daniel Frunza, 9-2 in his career, 5-0 in his last 5, and he is making his UFC debut. Rhys McKee, I mentioned, looking for his first UFC win, but he's been in and out of the UFC since 2020. This guy has had quite the stretch. He's a long striker, and he's struggling to find some success in the UFC. He made his debut against Khamzat Chimaev. He landed literally 0 strikes whatsoever, and then he was submitted. Then he lost a decision to Alex Morono. Then he left for 3 years, came back, lost a close decision to Angelosa, and then now just lost a decision to Chidi Njokuani. Style-wise, traditionally, he's a rangy striker, pretty accurate, good speed, good power. He does a good job piecing people apart, hanging out on the outside, and then rushing in if there's an opening. He typically tries to avoid grappling, but we did just see him in that Chidi Njokuani fight look to grapple. He spent the majority of the time holding Chidi up against the cage. He's taking on UFC newcomer Daniel Frunza. This guy's a solid striker, good pressure, good leg kicks. He bombs away in the feet. He continues marching forward no matter what is coming back his way. He keeps his power late. He doesn't give up regardless of how fights are going up until that point. And if you don't want to get into a firefight, you can take him down pretty easily, and that is going to be his kryptonite maybe in this fight. He's riding that 5-fight knockout streak into his UFC debut. And just because UFC Mexico was a pretty straightforward card, just because we didn't have any insane upsets on that card, doesn't mean that we did not see insane upsets on the 10 previous fight cards. 2025 has been wild. There have been more times in 2025, I'm making this up, but it sounds correct. There have been more times in 2025 where the biggest underdog on the card won the fight than all of 2024. We have only had 11 fight cards this year, and it's been absolutely insane, the number of tremendous plus 600, plus 400 underdogs. minus 700 favorites losing. And the reason I'm doing this whole rant is what could go wrong with a hyped all early finish having Daniel Frunza coming in here as an almost 2-1 favorite. The reality is I came here looking to just trash Rhys. He sucks. He doesn't belong in the UFC. The guy can't win a fight. But then you watch the tape and it's like, man, these are good losses. These are quality losses. He's trying to evolve. The fact that he was wrestling Chidi Njokuani tells you he's trying to evolve. He's trying to make adjustments. I would love to be on the Rhys side. I am going to go ahead. I'm going to pick Daniel Frunza here. And the only reason I'm doing that, this is the same logic I did when I picked against Charles Johnson in his last fight. Because I said, apparently the only thing Vegas cares about is who is moving forward trying to take somebody's head off. That's all Vegas cares about. And if Rhys McKee is trying to be a technical striker or Rhys McKee is holding you against the cage, but then Daniel's the one stepping off and Daniel's the one bombing away, looking to make something happen, even if he's not landing clean, even if he's not having like the most amount of success, visually, that seems to be what Vegas wants. Damage, who's looking to win the fight. I do think that's going to be Daniel, even though this is a insanely winnable fight for Rhys McKee. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I broke down this fight. I was very surprised that Rhys was the underdog because Daniel in that Contender Series fight, I mean, he got chinned and he came through and he's a tough dude, but he got chinned, he got taken down, came back and won that fight. But Rhys is the cleaner striker. He's the better striker. He's starting to mix in some wrestling as well. Obviously, he couldn't get the takedowns against Chidi, but those are some pretty decent entries. And he tried to stick with it as well with a little bit of a chain wrestling. And Daniel was taken down so easy in that Contender Series fight. It's like, okay, if Rhys gets in trouble, that's exactly what happened. Daniel got a little overzealous, chinned a guy, and the guy easily took him down. So if Rhys does get in trouble, he's shown that if he's not getting hit by Chimaev, that he can tough shit out. I had the under 2.5 against that Angelosa fight and was losing my fucking mind, and Rhys' toughness is what cost me that fight. Now, I have a similar bet on this fight just because Rhys is the guy that is a finisher. Every single win he has a finish. And Daniel, I think, is a little bit chinny. I think he's a little bit sloppy in his striking. I wouldn't be surprised if Rhys gets this fight to the ground and subs this dude. Rhys is he's a grappler. He's not a grappler, but he has grappling that was lacking wrestling. If he starts mixing in the wrestling against a guy that can't wrestle, I think he's got a high grappling advantage against a guy like Daniel Frunza, who is just going to lay there and try to elbow you. And I think Rhys by submission is kind of a sneaky bet in this fight, but I think Rhys is the better fighter. I picked him to win, and I put a bet on him, a couple bets on him. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's absurd. Like I said, if this fight was not in Las Vegas, if we left Las Vegas and we had judges that appreciated...
There's going to be judges in this one.
You think that he's going to finish?
Daniel's a guy that he says, like, I'm coming to fucking fight. I'm going to... And he showed that in his Contender Series fight. He came forward, he hurt the guy, then he got hurt, and then he ended up finding the finish. And if you're coming forward against Rhys, I mean, he's a finisher.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this will definitely be a fun fight. Rhys's last fight was kind of boring, but again, that was a lot of that had to do with Chidi is a little gun shy, and Rhys was terrified of what was coming his way because those were coming in fast and hot. What I will say is Rhys ate a couple of massive shots in that fight. Like, the dude's got a chin on him. He is a pretty durable guy. So this could be a fun fight. It could be a back and forth war. Daniel moving forward, absolutely bombing away. And if Rhys engages in that, who knows what's going to happen here. The betting odds and the DraftKings fantasy pricing are pretty wide to each other. Betting odds plus 140, relatively close fight. $7,600 in DraftKings fantasy pricing indicates this guy's a pretty big underdog. So I do think there's some upside there for Rhys McKee in your DraftKings fantasy, especially if you're on the Jakey Boy side here and you think he can win by finish. If you want to see what the DraftKings optimizer has to say, if you want to see what the ownership projections have to say, if you want to see what the fight simulator has to say, the artificial intelligence and the 5 cappers giving you picks and bets, it is all available in one package. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. It's $10 measly $10. Show me a value meal at McDonald's that's less than that. And this is for a whole month.
I've been eating, I've been on my health kick here for a little bit. I went on a, as you know, 2-day fast. I don't know if, obviously you've never done that, but I did do a full 48-hour fast a week and a half ago. Whew! Holy shit, was that a fucking trip? The headaches I had was fucking insane. But I came out of that and was trying to eat a little bit healthier. I've been known to be kind of a fast food buff, Uber Eats buff and stuff. But literally every day for lunch, I've been getting a 6-inch sub and just a bag of chips and eating that. You know how much that costs?
$3.
Are you fucking retarded? You think a fucking 6-inch sub and a bag of chips costs $3 fucking, Angelo?
I gotta be honest, I didn't hear the first
Have you
half.
never been to Subway?
6-inch sub. Well, now the 5. Actually, I only eat the tuna there, and then I do double tuna, and it's a foot long, and I do extra cheese. So that's about $16. So $8.
It's $13.
Jesus fuck for a 6-inch sub.
I add bacon on it.
Fucking 6 pounds, dude. That's a rip-off. Is that delivered or in person?
In person pickup.
Dude, this is why Jersey Mike's is putting them out of business. At least Jersey Mike's is good. And I'm from Connecticut. Subway is a Connecticut company. I grew up on Subway and real delis. The only thing I still eat there is that tuna, that disgusting ice cream
bacon
scoop
on anything
tuna.
these days, and it's gonna add up. I just get turkey, lettuce, provolone, mayo, spinach, bacon.
That exact same, that's a club sub at J Mike's. I like that club sub.
I was getting Jersey Mike's for a while. I got a bunch of points saved up on Jersey Mike's, but then I kind of got tired of it.
The problem is I had to stop doing Mike's Way. I like Mike's Way. I had to stop doing it because every sandwich ends up tasting the same when you do that.
Yeah, I don't get the
so
oil
to stop
and stuff.
doing.
Yeah, I don't get the...
Well, so I stopped doing the juice, even though it's good. And you know what I've discovered? You may know this from Indiana.
They had the best bacon, though. I mean, their bacon is fucking...
It's crispy as fuck.
Shit.
It is good. It is good. Some Jersey Mike's do breakfast. Imagine a bacon, egg, and cheese from them. That's probably amazing.
I like bacon, but I get sausage, egg, and cheese.
Yeah, I actually ham, egg, and cheese is my preferred.
I mean, there's nothing better than waking up and putting some sausage in your mouth.
Okay. And before we move on, Jimmy John's, sneaky good. Jimmy John's is that's a good sandwich.
No. It's funny because somebody said Subway equals whatever, but Jared was actually, he did that. He was an Indiana guy. So he was he was at Colts game. He was like the Indiana, like we were very proud of Jared because he lived in Bloomington, Indiana. That was his thing. He would walk to the Subway in Bloomington, Indiana. So he was because they have celebrities like introduce, like bang the gong or whatever it is or whatever. So it was like, Jared for the coin toss and Jared for this, and he was like the Indiana hero. And it's like, holy shit, fucking idiot, dude. That was wild. That documentary, because he was like fucking brash about that shit too. Like I don't know if you watched that documentary, but he was like,
not hiding
dude. Oh, it's like holy shit, dude. He thought he could get away with fucking anything the way he went about that.
And it was like lots of kids.
It was fucking, I can't remember the details. Obviously, I don't want to, because I think YouTube fucking doesn't like that type of stuff. But I can't remember where, I think the documentary was on Netflix or something, but it was like, holy shit, dude. Like, really?
Yeah, Jesus. I can't watch that. Having little kids, I can't watch that shit. I already trust nobody. And then I watch shit like that, and it's like, oh, it's God. Crazy. Like, we don't even let the kids, mine are 8 and 6, they won't even play in the street without me or Tiffany parked in a fucking lawn chair in the driveway. Like,
it's probably my fault for that, for the story of me when I was fucking
Jacob would go hang out with his 60-year-old neighbor in the basement who had no kids.
I never went there, but literally anytime.
I thought you went there to watch Titanic or something.
No, that was the other neighbors. That was that was the other older couple. Had all the kids down to watch Titanic, and we'd play with their Furby. It was Furbies, right? Furbies were like the little.
I didn't have one, but I know. Yeah,
the weird talking whatever. Yeah, here, come to our basement. We have Furbies and Titanic on. Watching. Yeah, anytime I came out to throw football, because I was just used to. My favorite thing in the world, because I was a fucking Dione. Every kid in the 90s was fucking Ken Griffey Jr. and Deion Sanders. And Dione, with his fucking gloves, had his glove undone. So I had baseball gloves I'd leave undone. Nice. I would fucking, look at this guy with the food.
That cost $20, so you're eating that.
She brought me a nice Italian platter here with meats, cheeses,
I'm pouring my heart out about being a victim of being a child predator. And Angelo's like, oh, look at these olives.
And the little mozzarellas, and those are artichokes.
It's Mozzarella.
No, I hate when people do that dumb shit. All right. Let's go ahead and move on.
I'm not done telling my story.
Oh, go ahead. No, perfect.
That's cool.
No. And then
let's see how many.
Show me on the doll. Get the doll.
Let's see how many Moz balls you can put in your mouth.
Thank you. See, this is a wife. See? Show me on the doll, Jacob. Finish your story.
What'd she just
Show me
do?
on the doll. Hey, get this dog out of here. I don't know what she's trying to get the dog out. All right. Here we go. Okay. Things are looking up. All right. Can't wait to finish my half so I can snack. Next up, at UFC Vegas 105, we have Dione Belbita taking on Dione Barbosa. Dione Belbita, 7-3 in her career. That can't be her record. Do I have these records switched? Yes. Dione Belbita, 15-9 in her career. And a very unfortunate 2-3 in her last 5. She is on a 2-fight skid. She's taking on Dione Barbosa, 7-3 in her career, 4-1 in her last 5. She's coming off the decision loss to Miranda Maverick. If we start on the Barbosa side, these odds have widened. What is she right now? 700, you said?
Minus 700.
The odds are widening. The minus 700, Dione Barbosa, solid grappler. She'll throw tight strikes. She will look to get fights to the ground. She's a judoka, meaning she practices judo. So instead of shooting up the middle, she's going to look to get a hold of you, trip, throw, get you down from there. Her striking is not very good, but it's fast, and it's certainly good enough to set up the clinches, which will then turn into takedowns. She's coming off that decision loss to Miranda Maverick, where she was taken down 2 times and controlled for 8 full minutes, but she did get a takedown of her own. She's taking on Dione Belbita. High pressure, high volume striker who can work in some BJJ, a little bit of ground and pound at times. Pretty well rounded, constantly moving forward, doesn't slow down. She can be effective in the clinch. She can be effective standing off her back. The fight IQ is not great. There's no danger whatsoever. There is no power whatsoever. She seemingly doesn't care about her career either. She's coming off that submission loss to Molly McCann, brown belt Molly McCann. And that should tell you everything you need to know. And here's the reality. Dione is a decent striker. Or Diana. Sorry, that's the problem with this fight. Diana is a decent striker. Diana, baby. Oh, wait, what's that song? Kendra and baby Kiana.
I mean, Cameron Van Camp's going to beat the fuck out of you.
Okay. Dirty look. That dude's unconscious. Dione Belbita, decent striker, but she's got no power. So she's going to need to fight a perfect 15-minute stay on the outside point fight to win this. And I don't think that's going to happen because when you're not worried about getting knocked out, you can just crash in, grab a hold of her, toss her to the ground. So I do think Barbosa wins this fight. I think most people think Barbosa wins this fight. And the reality is, I think, and I said this in my quick videos, I think Dione, I think Belbita was legit like, oh my God, I still have a UFC contract. I can make a quick 30 grand. Yeah, I'll do it. And I think she's expecting to lose this fight. Doesn't care if she loses this fight. Going to move on with her career. Barbosa has to be the side. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, let me start by everyone. Just let's see how many. Go ahead. Just throw as many in there as you can.
Okay.
That one, I've never seen anything disappear as fast as. Holy shit. Go ahead. 2, 3. Keep going. 4. You're not even halfway there. Go. 5. Go. 6. Tubby. Keep going, bitch. 7. Tubby. You got plenty of room. 8. Tubby. 9. Tubby. Now whistle. Here's 10. Is this the last one? Oh my God, that sound. Holy shit. Now get close to that mic. Get close to that mic. Come on. Get close to the mic. Oh my God. Should I get Tiffany on call right now? Just holy shit. Hold on. Holy shit. Oh God. Hold on. Hold on. Is he okay? Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Tiffany, you gotta get in there. He's choking. You gotta get in there. Holy shit. Be on the ground. You should be on the ground. Get on the ground quick. Are you
serious?
No. I put 10 of those in my mouth. And it looked like I was choking, but I'm good.
That would do that to me.
I ate 10 of the mozzarellas. You should get this out of here before I actually do choke.
Come on, Joey.
Here, take it, please. Excellent buy. Thank you.
I'm glad you could fling oil all over the room.
See, you got me in trouble.
She loves you. See how worried she was? She actually does. That was the test, and she actually does love you. And that was your idea, by the way. I wouldn't. Don't tell her that was mine. Don't fucking tell her that was mine. Yeah. All right, back to the breakdown. Listen, Dione is a girl that I like. Dione, I will never question the toughness of Dione Belbita. I mean, if there's anything that she is a tough girl. She will take a beating. She will come forward. She does not give a fuck. Her nickname is the Warrior Princess. She honestly backs up that nickname. I mean, she's in there. She's dating, an Indiana guy, Cameron Van Camp. So I appreciate everything that Dione brings to this fight. Now, Dione, I'm telling you right now, this is the fight. This is the fight to fucking shine. And I know that you've been working on your striking. Dione is a former lock of the week. She was the lock of the week against Miranda Maverick. Didn't come through. Short notice. Would have been a great win for her. Is what it is. But this is the fight. I know you've been working on your striking. I know you want to show off your striking. I know that you can beat her with your striking. But when I see fucking Molly McCann picking this girl up over her head, slamming her to the fucking ground, getting full mount and arm barring this girl, Dione, just come across. She wants to stay in range. She's going to throw up that little head kick that she does. Once you get in range, she's going to try to rip that body shot. Close the distance. Show her no fucking respect. Grab her, throw her to the ground. She's going to try and throw up a triangle, throw her legs to the fucking side, get on her back, throw the hooks in either fucking get your first TKO win or fucking submit this girl and make a fucking statement in this division that you fucking belong and you are here to make some fucking noise and tell these girls at 125 that if they sign to fight Dione Barbosa, they better bring a fucking gun because hands aren't going to fucking cut it against you. I like Dione, and if she does what she should, it should be in the fucking finish within 3 fucking minutes is what it should be. Get your hands on her, take her down, and fucking TKO her or fucking submit her inside of 3 or 4 minutes. Dione, I said in the beginning of the week, I bet her when she was minus 400. I said that she should be minus 1,000 or minus 1,500. I love the tenacity, the game that Dione brings into the octagon, and it should be a cakewalk for her. She's my pick.
There you go. I'm with you. Not quite as passionately, but I do think when you're not dangerous, it limits what you can do. If if Belbita was dangerous, then you wouldn't want to come charging in because you might eat something. That's a problem. But she's not dangerous. Eat whatever. Grab a hold of her. Toss her to the ground.
I literally think the worst thing that Dione could do is treat this like a tune-up sparring match to show off the striking because, yeah, you can probably still win that way, but it doesn't really do anything for your career. You prove it to yourself that you can strike and you're going to get a win, but this is about making fucking statements, and you have to make statements when you can make statements. If you want big fights, if you want to make a name for yourself, especially in a card that's a little bit lackluster, you want your fucking 50K, this is your chance for your fucking 50K right here. Pick her up, slam her down, get an early finish, call somebody out. People will be like, holy shit, did you see that finish? And now people are excited for you, your career. They're ready for the next one. If you're going to make a statement, this is the fight to make a fucking statement. And this is no disrespect to Dione. She just shouldn't have anything to offer on the ground. She just shouldn't.
Yeah, some people are just better. Pretty simple. I agree with Jakey Boy. We're on the same side here. $9,400 might be a surprisingly good play for a lady fight because if Dione is doing some bullying and some ragdolling and some tossing, she could score really well. Loopy scored really well doing the bullying and the tossing and the ragdolling. Holding in diarrhea.
Bullshit, dude. Oh, bullshit.
She won that fight holding in a diarrhea.
You know what's so funny is, was that after the first round or the second round?
Between the second and the third, she said, I have to poop.
Yeah. I thought it was after the first, but honestly, when she wrestled early in that fight, that takedown was a little bit easier than I would have liked. I mean, and thank God, honestly, I thought she was going to knock out Julia when Julia landed on her. I was like, oh.
Dude, the power bomb?
I literally turned away and was like, no. When she was in the air, I was like, fuck, no, God damn it. But when she wrestled that early, I was like, oh my God, Julia is going to win this fight. Because I know Julia can fucking turn it up like that. But when she got taken down in the second round, it's like, fuck, man. Because if she defends that takedown in the second round, what you saw in the third round would have happened in the second round, and Julia would have won that fight.
And the momentum would have carried
it.
It
is what lock of the week loss, but everyone's like, oh, you should have bet cool. You should bet cool. Yeah, if I could pick every fucking winner after the fight, this game would be real fucking, that guy almost got choked out and was fucking death gassed in the third round. I'm happy with where I was. It is what it is.
No, exactly. It is what it is. If you do want to check out all the picks, all the bets, all the tools, and everything else that we offer, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's $10 for an entire month. That month will get you through UFC 314 and a couple of other fight cards after that. We have a couple of super chatteroos.
And honestly, if that fight wasn't at elevation, I think Julia might TKO her because Julia just didn't quite to really put on that pressure that she normally does. I mean, Julia's a fucking problem.
The fact that she was getting pretty steadily beat, and then in the third round had that rally was like,
I told you guys, and I'm glad that you guys, the normal people, I got so many messages and so many tweets and everything being like, holy shit, you were right about Julia. Like the biggest thing I said was, if you have never watched her fight, I promise you were going to love the way she fucking fights. Even on the ground, she's like trying to land elbows and she's moving her hips and she's trying to scratch. She never once just laid there.
I hear you. We have a bunch of super chats. We got $4.99 from Ale24. I have the app. I am a member. That's real shit right there. Thank you. We appreciate you, Ale, and I'm happy that you're the app. We got to give web guy Josh all the credit for the app. He was the one grinding, making that happen. You guys voted on it. Josh delivered. Thank you for the super chat. CW said, do y'all have a Firehouse Subs in Texas? We do.
I love Firehouse.
I only like the Italian. Everything else I don't like.
You know what I just realized was happening with my, and you might fucking blow a load when you hear this, but because I like Firehouse Subs because I don't like toasted subs. I don't like hard bread, like stiff bread. So Firehouse is perfect. If I want a warm sub, it's steamed bun, so it's like a soft bread, but it's also a warm bun. So I get like a barbecue. I can't remember what it was, but it's basically, I think it's just like fucking brisket or roast beef or something with barbecue cheddar, something like that. The beef and cheddar, whatever it is. The last couple times I order fucking Firehouse Subs, it's been like a crispy, and I'm like, did they change completely from steamed buns to like just regular toasted buns? Because it's like hard bread. And then I realized that instead of ordering garlic bread on the side, which is what I normally did, I was getting a garlic bread bun. So they were making,
shit, that's a choice.
Yeah. So they were making my sub on garlic bread, which is like toasted garlic bread.
Oh, shit.
And the last time I was eating, I was like, holy shit, this is garlic bread, which I don't really like, but you know.
Wait, but you get a beef and cheddar?
Yeah.
That's weird with beef and cheddar, but meatball, I actually hate Meatball Heroes, but a Meatball Hero would be nice.
I mean, there's something, yeah, but I literally was like, what is going on? Like, why is the bread so hard? And I was like, oh, it's garlic bread.
Got it.
5-spot from Jake. You guys make Tuesdays and Thursdays nights fun. I appreciate the picks and the entertainment. Still waiting for Jacob's music channel. Dude has bars. I appreciate that.
There we go. Jakey Boy can actually write a song and perform it and do all the things. We appreciate the $5 super chat.
I mean, I do it all.
We'll get back to the Thursday call-in shows. It's just been tough. My kids are getting older. There's just tons of shit all the time, always. So we'll get back to those, I promise.
And I honestly was going to get back to the live streams this Saturday, and then for some reason this card is a nighttime card. If you guys didn't know, you're going to be watching Martin Boudet at 10 o'clock at night on the East Coast. Ale24, $1.99 again. McKee and Falcao for the big bag. We appreciate you. Spotted Salamander, $4.99. Jimmy John's is gas. Gas is good, right? That's a young person for good. Jimmy John's is gas. Angelo, can we get a video posted for premium members of the breakdowns without the side talk and premium plugs? No. And I'll tell you why. Every single premium pick, I'm going to take it off screen just so I can see Jake. Every pick from me, Jacob, Artem, BetSam, the artificial intelligence, they're listed on the website. Just boom, here's all the picks. Compare them to each other. And B, my notes, what I read, my script, everything I write is also on the website. Just go under raw notes. So I'm not going to film a whole separate video just for premium members when you already have access to everything as quickly as you want it right in front of you. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate that you're a premium member. J Field, $1.99. 314 tickets in Miami are steep. I need a DK lineup win. Yeah, I don't know how much they are, but in general, UFC tickets have been
unreasonable across the board, especially cities they don't go to.
That's what's so what's so funny on Twitter is the same people that will say that the UFC is failing are the same people that complain that the ticket prices are out of the world.
Yeah, it's supply and demand. They sell out.
Yeah, so it's like, what's going on here? Do you not listen to yourself? The UFC is, oh, look at these cards. It's a failing, this and that. And then they're like, I can't believe the prices of these fucking events. They're outpricing the normal. It's like, no, people are willing to pay. They sell out. The UFC London card was by far the highest grossing fight night gate of all time. That was 2 weeks ago. That card was fucking shit.
Yeah, listen, I don't disagree. AO24 again, $4.99. Belbita, hot AF. She will lose, but I hope she doesn't get cut. She's getting cut. I think this is probably the way she's talking. It's probably the last fight on the contract because I can't remember what she said, but she basically was like, obviously I know I'm not going to be champion. I know what I want to do with my post fight career. I just want to open a gym, and I think this is probably a payday to help, open up a gym and stuff. And good for her. Yeah. I mean, go for it. Somebody commented she's a nurse or some shit, but I have no idea.
Yeah, she's not a nurse. She's been she does do cut work. She's a cut man, cut woman.
She does.
She's done that before, yeah.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Not in the UFC, but obviously, regional stuff.
There you go. $4.99 from Bravado Real Estate. Angelo, I really want to thank you for giving us content for the toilet at the perfect time every Sunday morning. Cheers. Vince Bichelle would whoop you. Okay, we saw that. He can't defend a takedown. So, no. Appreciate the 5 spot.
He defended plenty of takedowns.
No. Wade Wilmot, $4.99. Love your bad take show. You not going. Every time Josh talks, it's a reminder to me that CTE is real. Great picks, guys. Love your bad take show. You got going.
Don't make fun of Josh, guys. He does. I mean, he's a great guy and he does his best.
Jealous girlfriend, Jake.
Obviously, yeah. Do you want to tell people what you did today?
Yeah. So this morning, I'll read the text. This morning, I'm texting with Jacob. I text from my computer. I have a MacBook, so I text from my computer. Occasionally, I'll text the wrong thing to the wrong person. So Josh and I were filming a bad takes video, so I went to send him the link to join, and I accidentally sent it to Jacob. Hold on. What time? Oh, here's an Angelo's fat video. What a fucking joke. Hold on. I accidentally sent the link to Jacob. God, dude, we text a lot.
Well, I do, but you don't really answer a whole lot.
I see them all. I'm usually doing stuff. Tomorrow. Hold on, I'll find it. Wrong person. So I accidentally texted Jacob the link, and he goes, "What the fuck is that?" Oh, for Josh? Okay. Separate text. Okay. Separate text. Okay. And then he does an impersonation. We good for tonight? Accidentally sent to the ex. Sorry, wrong person. Fuck you. So, very upset. Sorry about that, Jakey boy.
Good storytelling there. Whatever you do, guys, don't make fun of Josh in the chat right now. Don't say mean things about him. We don't need it. I'm not here for it. You guys know me. I'm Mr. Positivity. I don't trash other people. Whatever you do, don't say mean things about Josh Thompson in the chat right now.
$4.99 super chat from Brian with a Y. Thank you for lock of the week. Jake, what is it? 8 of 10? Is that what it is? We appreciate you.
It's not.
What is it? 8 of 9 of 11? 9-11. Next up, at UFC Vegas 105, we have the featured prelim of the evening. We have Davey Grant taking on Daniel Wiley Cat Santos. Davey Grant, 14-7 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that busy win over Ramon Tavares. He's taking on Daniel Santos. Daniel Santos, 11-2 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5, riding a 2-fight win streak. Davey Grant's not a young man. Not a young man. But he is a busy striker. He utilizes kicks for range. He'll throw those punches. He'll sling damage. There is some power in there. We've seen it a handful of times. Nothing insane. Nothing to completely worry about. But we have seen that power in 2 different fights. A lot of people forgot that Davey Grant started his career as a grappler. Over time, over 13 fights in the UFC, he's developed other skills. Now he doesn't primarily grapple. Now he's looking to strike and stay busy and stay in your face. He is an older gentleman, but he does have an insane... It kind of
looks like he would look at you and go, "Hello, governor."
He definitely doesn't look the part. I mean, that's for sure. He does not look the part.
Hello, governor.
Oi. Oi. He has great fight IQ, and he uses his tools really well. He's a pretty durable guy. He's not durable in that he gets dropped all the time. He is durable in that he can recover. It happened in his last fight. That win over Ramon Tavares, even at his ridiculous age, dropped, managed to survive, come forward, and squeak it out. Taking on Daniel Santos. Daniel Santos is a shoot-the-box fighter, and like all other shoot-the-box fighters, he's all aggression, no defense whatsoever, and has some grappling holes. They're basically carbon copies of each other. There's a few, it's a big-ass gym, so there's obviously examples in other directions, but for the most part, Daniel Santos is the majority, the 80-20 rule of the shoot-a-box fight camp. He's going to move forward. He's going to try to rip your head off. You could drop him. He'll pop up, and then he'll fade, and then you could out-wrestle him. He'll be dangerous on the ground, putting his hips on his feet on your hips and trying to make stuff happen, but then he'll fade. You can hang out, and you can make it happen. Davey Graham's the type of guy that's going to win these fights. He's going to look like he's losing. He never looks good. You never see Davey Graham fighting like, wow, look how smooth that was. Ooh, look at that combination. Wow, that guy fills out a suit. But he does all of those things, and he just does them well, sneakily under the radar, making things happen. I think Davey Grant can make this happen. I think he can sneak this out. I think he can survive an early onslaught, use that insanely high fight IQ, use those 13 fights of UFC experience to work his way through this and get this win. I'm going to pick Davey Grant. I wish he was a bigger dog than he is, but I think Davey Grant, even at his old age, can make something happen. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I like Daniel Santos here. Obviously, I worry about the chin issues. You should probably worry about it kind of on both sides, but Santos has shown that he's a pretty durable guy, but I'm kind of done betting the chinny guys as favorites, right? We just saw that with Ronaldo kind of in the same position against this could look exactly the same. We have a chinny kind of wild dude that has come back and won fights before against the more technical boxer. Davey Grant's shown that even against a very technical boxer in Ramon that he was the better striker in that matchup. I was watching that fight in Tampa in the fucking VIP section, wasn't really paying attention. I had a bet on Ramon, and I just assumed that he was going to outbox the old Davey Grant, and I'm looking up at the TVs, and I'm like, is Davey Grant winning this fucking fight right now? I was like, and they're like, yeah, Davey. And I was like, holy shit. I kept watching. I'm like, holy shit, this is not good. Not a good situation.
Scooby-Doo.
I honestly think that Daniel Santos is going to come down with a little bit more of a wrestle-heavy game plan. You've seen Davey Grant be taken down and kind of out-grappled at times, and that's honestly what they do at their core. The shooter-box guys, if they get on top of you, they can control you. I think that's what happens. I think it's a little bit more wrestle-heavy, and he can do what he wants, and I think he finds a submission. But he might not. But he's going to be a pick.
Daniel?
Yeah, of course Daniel's going to be my pick.
You started off with, I'm done picking the chinny favorites, and then you picked the chinny favorite.
I said I'm done betting. I'm done betting. I'm done betting.
That's why I was like, wait, what am I missing right now?
I like Willie Cap.
He is definitely one of the more fun ones in that camp.
And I did bet him. But
who did we just see?
A little bit of a flyer situation.
And I bet him. Who did Loner Kavanaugh just beat that's exactly like Daniel Santos?
Not Felipe Dos Santos. Is it Felipe Dos Santos?
It might be. It was something Dos Santos. Exact same dude. Literally the exact same dude. Now, that was a war, and Davey's a little too old. He might not be able to get on the other side of that,
yeah,
but I do think...
dropped early.
He did. He did. I do think Davey Grant will pull it off. Jakey Boy and I are split here. I think you did the math ahead of time. We're split on 6 different fights. If I'm looking at DraftKings fantasy scoring, frankly, if Daniel wins, he probably could finish an older, somewhat chinny Davey Grant. Davey Grant could also, I don't know if he'll finish Daniel Santos, but he could be worth that $7,700 if he gets going with the grappling and does that tried and true out-grapple the shooter box type stuff. If you do want to check out all of our bets, all of our picks, all of the tools with the artificial intelligence.
He's not out-grappling Willie Cap.
Has to say, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It's $10 for an entire month. A whole month, not a week, not an event, an entire month. $10. In a world where we are selling this for $10, nobody can sell anything for any amount of money. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. Oh, that wasn't the featured prelim. Holy shit.
Yeah, for some reason, every time you say that, I kind of want to just kill myself.
Because I go, that whole thing?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, my bad. I also thought that was the featured prelim. Turns out this is the featured prelim.
Oh, my God.
What? What you've been waiting for all day is available?
Nope. Gene Matsumoto, my guy, went to Vegas this week, and I didn't know why he was in Vegas. I think he's hanging out with some of the Brazilians, but he's taking pictures with Mr. Pedro Falcao at the stuff. So,
Yeah, there you go. He won that fight against Rob Font. Next up, at UFC Vegas 105, we have Ode Osbourne taking on Luis Gurule. Ode Osbourne, 12-8 in his career on a very unfortunate 1-4 in his last 5 3-fight losing skid. Taking on Luis Gurule, undefeated, 10-0, 5-0 in his last 5, making his UFC debut. Remember that whole speech I gave about what could go wrong in 2025 with all these giant undefeated UFC newcomers losing? Luis Gurule fits that bill. He's light on his toes, forward pressure striker, undefeated guy. He does bounce around before leaping in and bombing away. He's aggressive both on the feet and on the ground, decent power. He's in good enough shape to push the pace for a full 15 minutes. He never takes a step backwards. He can grapple as well. He's got solid top pressure, good submissions, but mostly looking for bully-style takedowns and then some ground and pound. If he ends up being taken down, he's got that gas tank to scramble his way back to his feet. He's taking on Ode Osbourne, a southpaw striker who uses range well to keep people at the end of his punches. He's got a ton of power, great finishing ability, especially at 125 pounds. He has 5 wins in the UFC with takedowns in 3 of them, but he is riding a 3-fight losing skid because his takedown defense has failed him. Most recently, he lost to Lazy Boy Souza, who I just picked and bet against, where he looked great early, almost had the finish early, but then as Lazy Boy continued to gain steam, Ode couldn't handle the grappling. Ode's a 2-1 dog here. A proven entity and a 2-1 dog. And I used to sit here and defend, like, oh, the odds are crazy. Oh, Ode. If this was 4 months ago, Ode should be the favorite. He's proven. He's undefeated. And this year, it fits the bill. Undefeated, 10-0 guy. UFC newcomer, fighting a tried-and-true UFC vet. How many times have we seen the vet pull it off? I get all that. But I do feel like Ode at this point in his career, the 3-fight losing skid, 1-4 in his last 5, even though he is a very good fighter and he looked very good in his last fight, I think he's dejected. I think he's understands this is probably it for him. I think he's going to fight a little more cautious than he should, because if he doesn't win this fight, he's likely cut. And I think Luis can win this fight. I think Luis can expose the grappling gaps, push forward, be the bully, stay in his face. He's got plenty of cardio. If Luis was an early finisher, no chance I would pick him, but he's not. He's got plenty of cardio. He can grind out a win. I am going to pick Luis here. I don't know if I'm going to go as far as betting him, but I do think he'll get it done. I ultimately think it's going to be the takedown defense that's going to be the problem for Jose. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, Luis is probably better everywhere. Obviously, I think as you mentioned, it's not been a good year for undefeated fighters or debutantes, and this is the double whammy, him and Finney as well. So little pause for concern, but he's a better fighter, and I'm going to pick him, but I'm not going to bet him.
That was very fast breakdown. $7,300 in DraftKings Fantasy for Ode Osbourne. If you are just going to ride that trend and bet against the grain here and go against the grain and be like, hey, the seniors have been getting it done, then go ahead and throw him in your lineup. But I don't see that happening. $8,900 for Luis. If he does the grappling thing and gets all the takedowns and controls the pace and racks up the control time, then that $8,900 will be worth it. I don't know if he's going to finish Ode. Ode's a pretty durable guy. We've seen him finish before, but Ode's a pretty durable guy. I don't think Ode's going to get finished here, so I'm probably going to fade both of them in DraftKings Fantasy. But if you do want to see what the artificial intelligence has to say, which has been on a wild streak, the artificial intelligence has been picking remarkable accuracy recently. Go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. At the top, you'll have access to everything for an entire month. And if you want a couple of smackerinos, WeWantPicks.com/bets. We got a couple of affiliate links. You use the link. You sign up, make a deposit. We get paid. We slice off some of that money and give it to you. It's affiliate marketing. They're going to pay us because you use the link. And then we're going to share it because we love the community. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Here's a peek behind the premium curtain. It's not just copy-paste bets. I know the vast majority of you want the copy-paste bets. We have tools. Teach a man to fish. And you can learn how to fish with the brand new DraftKings Optimizer that if you go back and look at that super chat from Riff Raff, he said since he's been using the new Optimizer, he has been plus money every single week. Obviously, an Optimizer is just a tool. It's just going to build some lineups for you based off some decisions that you make. And it has been doing so pretty well. We have a tool called the Fight Simulator. This simulates fights 100,000 times using historical information and data to make those picks, to build those DraftKings fantasy lineups. And you're going to have access to those and 15 other tools that we don't talk about. For $10 an entire month, here's what that month could look like for you. UFC Vegas 105, UFC 314, UFC Kansas City, and if you time it well, whatever the fight is after the Kansas City, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. And everything we offer is available inside of the app. If you have not downloaded the app, do it. It's a free app to download. And what I have on the screen here is a push notification from this past Saturday. Whether you are a premium member or not, you got that push notification letting you know that the Pyfer Gastelum fight was canceled and you should take a look at all your bets and take a look at your DraftKings fantasy lineups and make sure things are good in your world. Couple of content updates here. Jakey Boy was back at it with the prop hunting video for UFC Mexico. He also has his super fast full card breakdown last week. That was very appreciated because our video went 3 hours. One of the better ones we've ever filmed, though. But if you want to get quick and to the point, he will film that stopwatch super quick video. And then I film a video called Bad Takes with former world champion Josh Thompson, talk about all the things MMA. The latest topic was, does the Apex suck? Meaning not the card quality, but the arena. And is that arena negatively affecting the UFC experience, the watch experience, and all the things? Check those videos out. They're pretty quick, 10, 15 minutes.
I'm interested. I'm honestly interested to see the renovations they do, if that actually turns into like people are like,
real arena?
Well, it's not going to be a real arena, but at least viable to where people get a little bit more, don't get as much hate for it.
Do you know what the renovation consists of? Is it more seats?
Yeah,
bathrooms,
making it bigger, They're making it bigger so they can fit more people in there, and I think make it actual. I mean, they can probably fit, I think 500 people in there right now. I don't know. They can probably fit
500. That seems like a lot. Maybe not. It's hard to tell. I'd have to look at the seating chart. 500 seems like a lot, but if you get enough people to get like some real loud cheers going, then it's like, okay, good, great TV.
You put me
experience.
in the Apex, and it feels like a fucking 10,000 people in there. I'm getting in fights. I'm getting flipped off. I mean, it's crazy, but
people selling hot dogs. That arena's so big. Yeah, I am curious to see those run because I don't mind the Apex cards. I like that it's consistent. You know what you're going to get. It's going to be well run. But I do. Let's put it this way. The UFC London card sucked, right? We all agree that card sucked. It was not a good fight card. It was boring. But knowing it was in an arena with like the lights are dim on the outsides and you heard people cheering, it just felt
the whole crowd
bigger.
Felt dejected as well. I mean, even from the opening jump, obviously they didn't have a lot of stuff to root for and stuff, but it was pretty lackluster. I actually thought that the Mexico crowd was a little bit lackluster as well.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't feel like it had a ton of pop to it.
I watched a lot of UFC Mexico on my phone because my mom was in town. We were doing stuff. Also, this weekend, for everybody watching, the 600 some odd of you watching live right now, and hopefully the 20,000 that'll watch after the fact, this Saturday is the daddy-daughter dance. I don't know what time that ends. I don't know what we're doing after. I don't know what the recap video is going to be like. So if it's a little late.
Like once a month. How many dances do you need to fucking have?
It's once a year. Last year was on UFC 300. This year it's at UFC Vegas 105. I also moved some content to make room for all the new content that we're putting on the board. The Prize Picks, the Underdog Fantasy is on our second YouTube channel. Go to that channel. It's called Picks Nation. It's a second channel run by the boys. We experiment with some new content. We move this hyper-specific focus content over there. Check it out over there if you care about those things. And if you've never tried those things, I encourage you to try them. They are pretty fun. And finally, here's the address if you want to send something for the vlog. We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406, Prosper, Texas, 75078. One super chat, then we're going to hit this main card. Keith Warall, Jacob, you're the man, bro. Won my pops and me over $500 last weekend. Goat emoji. Goat emoji.
I appreciate that. Make sure Angela knows that because my contract's up in July, and Angela said he doesn't know if he's bringing me back.
Well,
Will said, lock of the week just got overexposed. The public squandered the magic. It was shouted out on Ariel Hawani's sideshow, The Boys in the Back by Connor Burks. Ariel's co-host. He tailed Lock of the Week live on Ariel's show. I like Connor. Connor's a good dude.
Oh,
I
that's
didn't know
cool.
that, so I appreciate that information, Will.
Yeah, how did he, a little more context. Did he say Jacob's Lock of the Week? The We Want Picks Lock of the Week? Like, what did he say? He just said Lock of the Week?
Well,
that's pretty cool.
We Want Picks Lock of the Week.
That's why I'm asking what he said, you goblin.
Yeah, don't try and take that.
Well, in the contract. Oh, Hayabusa released some new gloves. Check them out. They are the leader in combat sports equipment. It's all high-end, real nice shit. Jacob's got that gi. He's got that in the music video. High-quality stuff. They support us. We should support them. WeWantPicks.com/Hayabusa. 10% discount. If you don't want to use the promo code, that's fine. Check them out. Support them because they support us. And if you do anything in combat sports, then you know what good gear should run you.
Oh, and also we have a new sponsor. I forgot about this one. You know, and I've been very...
We might get in trouble doing this. But go ahead.
I get paid, so I don't really give a fuck. You know, obviously it's not good to smoke, guys. It is dangerous. It tears families apart. I mean, it'll tear you apart. It tears families apart. You know, every time you walk outside, you're leaving your kids. I mean, they remember that, right? But if you're gonna smoke, make sure you smoke Marlboros because you know that's the brand that you're going to want to smoke, right? You get a nice little Marlboro Red. I think they even got some menthol, something like that. If you have a few beers and you're looking to kick back and make your arms and legs go numb, get you a Marlboro today.
To be clear, we are not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form. I think it's illegal for them to do that.
I will say Angelo is not because he's very anti-fun. But Marlboro understands between the two of us who is more fun and has been very generous.
All right. Well, what would be funny if I found out that was 100% true? Like, you're just puffing, blowing little smoke rings in my daughter's face next time you're over. All right. Next up, at UFC Vegas 105, we have the opening fight of the main card. We have the highly anticipated official UFC debut of Torrez Finney. He is taking on Robert Valentin. Robert Valentin, 10-4 in his career, 3-1-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that crucifix loss to Ryan Loder. He's taking on the undefeated 10-0 Torrez Finney, who is undefeated and is making his UFC debut after 3 Contender Series wins. Robert Valentin, we have some experience with him so far. He came through the Ultimate Fighter. He did just lose in that finale. He's a creative striker. He plots forward. He's got those low hands, lots of spinning techniques. He's powerful as hell. He is willing to engage. He's willing to exchange, but he's very hittable. He does not go to his takedowns often, but he does have offensive takedowns in his back pocket. He also has wild submissions. If you go back and look at one of his fights in the Ultimate Fighter, he had one of the coolest submissions you've ever seen on that show. The dude went from cracked, wobbled, headlock, which was then turned into a key lock that he did with his legs. The dude is creative as hell. He doesn't give a shit. He reminds me of like a hybrid, obviously not what he's achieved, so relax, literal Larry's. He's almost like a Yuri and a Drekus. Like, he doesn't give a shit. He's going to come forward. He's a little crazy. He's a little weird. Everything he does is unorthodox. It's sloppy, but he's dangerous as hell. And we saw a lot of those skills and a lot of the scrambling in that Ryan Loder fight before he lost. He's taking on Torrez Finney. Torrez Finney might be the most famous guy from the Contender Series. And I said this on my Quick Picks video. Not famous product of the Contender Series like a Sean O'Malley, and not famous person ever on the Contender Series like Bo Nickel. I'm talking about the most famous person that was built in the Contender Series. He's had 3 fights. There's a ton of people that give a shit about his UFC debut because of the 3 different fights on the Contender Series. They started to follow his career. It's almost like what a regional promotion does, is they build a star, and the Contender Series has kind of done that here with Torrez Finney. Torrez Finney's pretty good. He's a jacked, tiny little man. Tiny little guy, but he is jacked as shit. And even though he carries all of that muscle and has no neck whatsoever, he's got plenty of cardio. He'll move forward. He'll shoot takedowns. He'll get in your face. He's an old school wrestler that can make things happen. He will bomb away on the feet. He's athletic. He's got some power in his hands, but he does struggle with range because he is short as shit. He's what they call a manlet. I Googled the definition of manlet. Manlet is below average height and a very, it doesn't say jacked, it says very muscular. That is literally the description. This dude is not tall and jacked as shit. And the best part about him being jacked is, as I mentioned, he has cardio. For him to carry that muscle and to not fade as the fight goes on, be able to shoot takedowns and push forward is crazy. Torrez Finney is sort of defying logic when it comes to all of that. His issue is range, but I don't think it necessarily matters in most of his fights, or this one, because he comes forward, he bombs away, he shoots takedowns, he stays in your face, he's got the cardio, so he'll just keep shooting one after another, after another, after another. We saw Robert have some success. We saw Robert defend a few takedowns, create some scrambles against Ryan Loder. Ryan Loder ultimately got the win there. The reality is Ryan Loder's a more accomplished wrestler than Torrez Finney. Torrez Finney's probably faster. Hits a little harder, has great cardio. I am going to pick Torrez Finney to win here. Robert Valentin's the exact type of guy to like make some shit wild quick. But I am going to pick Torrez. He doesn't even have a neck to choke. I got to go Torrez Finney here. I'm rooting for him. I'm excited for him. I hope he does well, and I hope we build ourselves a nice little superstar. And last thing, you're going to see, oh, but he's 5'8". I've already gotten this comment. He's 5'8". Man, whoever is doing the height and statistics for WWE wrestlers is also doing it for Torrez. He's not 5'8". He's not 5'8", just like The Rock's not 6'8". Torrez Finney, 5'6". Jakey boy, what do you think?
By the way, the early returns for that movie, I guess, are fucking terrible.
What movie? Oh, the Rock movie there?
Yeah, what's the
Machine?
Yeah, whatever it was.
Not Machine. Shit, what is it? It's not Machine. All I can think is Machine. It's not Machine.
Stop fucking saying Machine then, asshole, so we can think.
Yeah. It's Mark Kerr. Smashing Machine. I knew Machine was in it. Smashing Machine. Thank you. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, this seems like a pretty easy breakdown. I mean, Finney should win, and I'm going to pick him to win. And if he doesn't win, I'm not going to be crazy surprised. If he does win, I'm not going to be crazy surprised. This is the same thing as the last debutante. I'm going to wait and see before I start betting him because, you know, the last guy he fought in Contender Series kind of didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And Robert Valentin knows what the fuck he's doing on the ground and could have some issues. But I'll go Finney here. He's explosive and he's a tough dude.
Do me a favor. Define debutante. Because you've said it multiple times. Tell me what that word is.
Somebody
what it
making
means.
Their debut.
No, it's a young woman, typically from a wealthy or aristocratic family, formally introduced to society. Okay?
Seems like Finney to me.
It should be a really fun fight. I'm rooting for the
What's
dude.
What's the word? A debutante.
Debuting fighter. Like there's not a past tense for debuted. He's a debutante. He's a debuter.
It's the noun for somebody making their debut as a debutante.
It's not a noun. You know what a noun is?
Yeah, it replaces the word as who
person,
somebody.
Place.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a word to describe the person making their debut as a debutante.
Well, what's the word, guys? What's the word? We just got the definition for debutante. What's the word we're actually looking for here? Debutee?
He literally just posted, making me right.
Debutant? No, this says...
They're literally debutante. Person making their first appearance in a career. You fucking retard.
Maybe it's debutant. Yeah, debutant. Debutant.
Debutante is literally what it says. I would like an apology.
If you're right, I apologize. We have to listen.
If you're right, it's clear as day in front of you. With the phonetic spelling and everything.
Pull it up on your phone and do where Google says it. Let's hear how Google says it.
All right, get this fucking apology ready, and it better be fucking good.
While we're waiting for that, Torrez Finney might be worth that $9,000 in DraftKings Fantasy because if he gets the grappling going and he's getting takedowns and he's doing the toss and he finds finishes, which he has been doing.
Debutante.
bitch. You stupid fuck.
You sure that's the right one, though?
Yes!
So
Overview. A
so
person making a first appearance in career or fashionable society. Pronunciation.
Debutante.
Now fucking apologize, you fat fuck.
Okay. All right. Relax. I apologize. Seems it has multiple definitions, including young women.
No, you added an E at the end, which is debutante or something.
I just typed in debutante, and that's
with an E at the end. It's a different word. You add letters and words change, Angelo. It's how English language fucking works.
You fucking. Somebody's worked up that I said 5'8" was short. Next up at UFC Vegas 105, we got Brad Tavares taking on Gerald Meerschaert. Brad Tavares, only 1-4 in his last 5. He is.
Do you know what that word even means? I would love for you to tell me what that word even means.
Went out of your way to try and make me look stupid, and look at you now.
I Googled it, and that's what it said.
Do you even... Excuse me. Do you
I
even...
didn't say.
Excuse me. Do you even know... Explain... do me a favor. Explain what you think that word means. Do me a favor.
That didn't even happen. I said, tell me what the definition of debutante is. I want to hear. Hold on. Let me hear. It's the same word. How does the same word have two meanings? It's pronounced exactly the same. Anyway, okay, let's go. And I apologize. You're right. You proved it very clearly, too. I have no leg to stand on. Next up, at UFC Vegas 105, we have Brad Tavares taking on Gerald Meerschaert. Brad Tavares.
Actually, do me a favor. Give me a salute, if you don't mind.
I mean, am I stealing valor if I salute a...
What
I didn't
was
flip
this?
you off or anything.
Your hand was like, get a fucking salute going.
Where does it go? Here.
Just save it. Just fucking save it.
Next up at UFC Vegas 105, we have Brad Tavares taking on Gerald Meerschaert. Brad Tavares, 20-10 in his career, and a very unfortunate 1-4 in his last 5. He is taking on Gerald Meerschaert, 37-18 in his career.
Not
2-3
a debutante.
2-3 it is because he's not a woman being presented to society. 2-3 in his last 5, coming off that decision loss to Renier de Reder. Gerald Meerschaert, every Gerald Meerschaert breakdown is exactly the same. The dude's going to come forward. You're going to outbox him a little bit. You're going to start feeling good about yourself. You're going to take him down, and then you're going to be in some trouble. Gerald Meerschaert has okay striking, very good jiu-jitsu. The wrestling, historically not great, but his last couple of fights, not really the Renier fight, but his last couple of fights, he's been shooting actual nice doubles and takedowns and getting it to the ground. Gerald Meerschaert, we all know, is a pretty durable guy. He will take his beatings, and then he will go ahead and find a submission where he can. He's taking on Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares, pretty tried and true entity at 185 pounds. If you pull up his record, you will see everybody he has ever fought, and it's every single current and former world champion you could think of at this weight class, including Dricus du Plessis, Israel Adesanya, Robert Whittaker. He has fought everybody at multiple weight classes. They've moved weight classes, not necessarily him, and he's had success at all levels. He's Hawaiian tough. He's mostly a striker. He's going to move forward, not particularly dangerous. He is pretty old at 37, but he's pretty durable as well. And even though 37 at middleweight isn't crazy old, Brad Tavares has been in some wars. Gerald Meerschaert fights all look the same. You don't really see him win any striking exchanges, so he's losing those. Then maybe the fight goes to the ground. If it does, it's like, oh shit. And if it doesn't, he's just going to continue to lose on the feet. He's a durable guy, though. I'm going to have to pick Brad Tavares here. Brad Tavares has fought too many good people to make the tried and true dumbass mistake of just taking Gerald down and hanging out in his guard and getting submitted. So Brad Tavares should be able to win the striking exchanges, should be able to have success on the feet, and should be able to win this fight. I don't know how exciting this fight's going to be because both of them are somewhat durable guys, and neither one of them are wildly dangerous outside of Gerald on the ground. So I think we have a Brad Tavares wins by decision here, and this might be a little bit of a snoozer. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, Jared Staples, $1.99 says, Angelo looks like a retarded cop.
That says retired.
Retarded cop. Don't disagree there.
That says,
I like, I like Brad Tavares here. The Iron Turner fight was a little bit interesting. He was obviously just kind of worn down from the pressure. Gerald doesn't really bring that type of pressure. I mean, he will kind of like stalk people down. And he's got underrated power, and sometimes he can eat shots, and sometimes he can't eat shots. And he's a very interesting guy to watch fight. You never know what the fuck is going to happen in a Gerald Meerschaert fight. So if he comes in and is able to randomly get a takedown and submit this guy, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised. If he gets knocked out randomly by Brad, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised. If he gets the fucking shit beat out of him for 2 rounds and then finds a submission, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised. I got to go with Brad here just because he should be able to defend the takedowns and shouldn't get worn down the way that he was in that one fight. So I like Brad, but if Gerald pulls it off, what am I not going to be?
Surprised. And Brad almost stopped Iron Turtle, or it looked like he was going to stop him. Like that first round of that fight, he beat the absolute shit out of him. So, yeah. But then to your point, he did fade quite a bit. I think Brad makes sense here, but the problem is he is minus 255. That one win in his last 5 is against Chris Weidman when Chris Weidman came back from his leg being in 9 pieces. So it's like, that's the only win.
And I don't know if you know the answer to the question or not, but do you think that if you got arrested, it would only take 1 pair of cuffs?
Yes, I'm very flexible. See? Speaking of fat jokes, Daniel said Angelo looks like his blood type is Genoa salami. And interestingly enough, I had Genoa salami for lunch. So it is actively coursing through my veins.
You know what's so funny is like you do put on this facade, this fake, this, and you do it well of like, I love my daughters. And then
okay. I don't know where you're going with this.
And then you treat your body in that way to where you're not going to last to be able to see much of anything. So it's like you say one thing, but your actions are like you don't give a fuck.
We could fight again and we could see who's in better shape because it was last time that it was very clear I was in better shape somehow.
We can get our blood drawn again and watch the nurses look at each other after you get your blood pressure taken like, what do we do here?
I have picture proof of my blood pressure being perfectly fine.
We got our blood drawn, and the nurses said it should be fine.
That was a year ago after a night of drinking. Okay? Now, clean as a whistle. What else is clean are the picks and the bets on the website. Go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member, unlock everything you could ever want or need. It's only $10 for an entire month. That month will give you access to UFC Vegas 105, UFC 314, UFC Kansas City, every single pick, bet, and tool along the way. WeWantPicks.com. Couple super chatterooskies, $4.99 from Jared Staples. Need floors? Tile? Would love to work for you guys. Are you literally offering flooring? I have to hide this from my wife because she will want flooring. We appreciate the super chat. Shoot us a letter or something like that with your business and we'll shout you out, man. Richie J. Valentin knocking Finney big head into the stands.
That's not what he wrote.
Big head. I'm assuming that's ass.
Whoa.
Thank you for the $2 super chat. Jared Staples again. Angelo looks like a retired cop. I mean, Jared, what the fuck? You just offered me flooring. Got fired from the force because of the AIDS. Jared, what's happening? Jared, 2 minutes ago, hey, you guys need flooring? Would love to work for you. Now, Angelo's a retired cop with AIDS who got fired.
You know what's funny? You know what actually that reminds me of? Because you were kind of very anti Joe Pyfer in the beginning of this breakdown by his comments and stuff, and rightfully so, right? I mean, Joe's a fucking douchebag loser. I don't know why he would say stuff about my Mexican brothers and sisters, mi amigos. But the way that you were approaching Mexicans last week, I would have thought that you were pretty aligned with Joe and his words.
What did I say negatively about Mexicans? I love Mexicans.
Because we had a nice little talk, me in the chat, when you I can't remember what you had to leave to do something, and we all agreed that it seemed like your rhetoric, tough word. seem pretty anti-Mexican. So I don't know.
You just make shit up, and then there's going to be a
How
percentage
can
of
I
people-
make stuff up when people agree with me in the chat?
So tell me, yeah. Okay.
David Rios says that they love you.
See?
They're
I
trying to
love
bring
you guys. I love the Mexican people. You think my fat ass doesn't like Mexican people living in Texas? You think
Mexicans.
Yeah, I love them.
I love the Mexicans.
Next up, at UFC Vegas 105, we got Kennedy Nzechukwu taking on Martin Buday. Kennedy Nzechukwu, 14-5 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He is riding a 2-fight win streak. He's taking on Martin Buday, 14-2 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that boring win over Andrei Arlovsky. Kenny Nzechukwu's massive. He's a big dude. He's big, he's long, he's powerful. Solid takedown defense. He's never out of a fight. We talk about this every time. Because he is low volume, he can end up falling behind on the judges' scorecards. And then he falls behind, but he doesn't quit on himself. And then bang, knockout. Carlos Ulberg, probably the most famous one that he has, but he has about 3 or 4 different come-from-behind knockout wins. When he doesn't throw, it's frustrating. When he does throw, it can be powerful. He's typically a pretty durable guy, but somewhat unreliable because of that decision-making. He's coming off that knockout win over Lucas Bresky. He's taking on Martin Buday. Powerful striker in his own right. He's got some heavy hands. 11 stoppage wins under his belt. He's got good footwork. He throws everything with intent. He averages almost 5 significant strikes landed per minute, but he himself is hittable, and he can be a slow starter. He's coming off that uneventful win over Andrei Arlovsky, where a lot of people think he actually lost that fight. Jacob and I watched that live. I believe we watched that live, right? That was at, did we see that? Was that UFC 303? I believe it was.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Martin Buday's last fight.
Yeah, you had him in the safety parlay, didn't you?
That's right. And I was sweating it. That's right. And I was
I think
sweating.
I was telling you, like, you're good, dude, but you were like, I don't know.
It was dicey because Martin Buday in that fight, we didn't get to see the aggression. We didn't get to see the power. That's because the fight before that, he got smoked by Shamil Gaziev, and that seemed to break his confidence a little bit. And that's the problem here because I actually wanted to pick Martin. I see all the comments. I see everybody, the guy's a slob, he sucks, he's soft. Dude, Martin is actually busy. He's active. He moves forward. He looks for finishes. Kennedy's the one who'll just sit, wait, not really let his hands go. But I am going to have to pick Kennedy because of how insanely powerful he is, how durable he typically is, and he's never out of a fight. So even if Martin's having some early success moving forward, being busier, I could see Kennedy taking over, making it happen. So Kennedy's going to be the pick. Are you laughing at my pick or some horrible shit somebody said in the comments?
No, one of the comments, it was pretty funny.
What is it?
You want me to say what it is?
I guess so.
I just fucking spit everywhere. I don't want to say it.
I mean, direct me so I can at least see it and also laugh.
Well, there's an emoji next to it.
Had to spice up the chat, smiley face,
No,
before
you
or
gotta
after
keep
that.
Trolling. I don't know how far behind you are, but
Of course, Angelo
It's the-
wanted to pick Martin.
you don't even fucking get it, dude. We just had a talk about racially charged Angelo, and it's like, and you said I wanted to pick Martin, and the guy is like, of course Angelo wanted to pick Martin.
Oh, but I'm picking Kennedy. This is stupid. You guys are just making shit up.
Fucking idiot, dude.
Yeah, I'm the idiot. Kennedy's the pick. Who do you think wins, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I really like Kennedy. I'm a big fan of Kennedy. I'm a big fan of Kennedy. No, I'm just Kennedy should fucking win. I mean, we honestly we need fucking heavyweight fucking prospects at this point. He moved to heavyweight. He's looked good at heavyweight. The speed that he didn't really have at 205, but he was still winning fights. He really has at heavyweight, and that's what's been winning him fights. If you're Kennedy, just don't let this dude fucking hug you and try to get out of here with a fucking boring win. Keep your space, keep your length, touch this guy, land that right hand. You might not put him out. He's a pretty durable guy for the most part. But for the love of God, Kennedy, please fucking win this fight because we need people like you who can be fun in the heavyweight division. We don't need any more fucking Angelo fucking Budays fucking just hugging people, being fucking hairy and sweaty in there. We need fucking people that can actually fucking fight. Kennedy can actually fucking fight. Just for the love of God, please win this fight. I bet him. I put him in a parlay, and literally couldn't look at the screen as I placed the bet because I was like, I can't believe I'm betting Kennedy at minus 300, but he should fucking smoke him. I pray to God that he does.
Yeah, it'll be either an insanely boring fight or a fun one. I mean, it's like every other heavyweight fight. You can get a staring contest, or you can get some actual leather slinging. So it should be interesting. Kennedy, the problem is the stats that you see on the scene are deceiving. 5.37 strikes landed per minute. Dude, watch a Kennedy fight. You're just like, throw, come on, do something. It's right there. Let it go. So I don't know why the stats are deceiving like that, but the reality is he is more powerful. He is faster. He is cleaner. He is durable. He should win this fight. $9,200 in DraftKings Fantasy. If you think he finds a finish, he's absolutely worth it. If you think we end up with a sort of pitter-patter hanging around, then no. What is this? I love you? Scoop? C4. I love you. He said I love you guys. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, unlock everything you could ever want or need heading into fight weekend. What does that mean?
Jared was asking if we could sing birthday to his deaf wife, Christine, if he wanted to.
Go ahead, sing it.
Do you fucking hate deaf people too? I don't know what's happening. Why did you start laughing at his wife?
I thought you said dead wife.
That was funnier than deaf? What is?
Yeah.
I thought you said his dead wife. His wife's dead.
You know why I laughed? Here's a little view into how my brain operates.
Can't wait for
I
this.
laughed. Have you seen the screenshot?
Salami, roast beef, mozzarella, pasta. Just like that fucking ding, ding, ding.
Have you seen, it was a screenshot of a Reddit comment thing. And somebody said, if you could have sex with one person, dead or alive, who would you have sex with? And some guy was like, I yearn for the feel of my ex, or of my dead wife. She made me whatever. She did. I've never, blah, blah, blah. And it was like this passionate thing about his wife who he loves so much. He just wants to make love to her one more time. And the next comment under that was, I want to have sex with that guy's dead wife too. And so when you said his wish happy birthday to his dead wife, that is what popped into my head. So I laughed at it. Okay.
Who would you pick?
A dead person?
Dead or alive? Who? If you
Well, dead or alive, I have to go with my wife.
Don't be a fucking douchebag, dude. Come on. It's just hypotheticals. I got mine locked and loaded. Go ahead.
Who's yours?
No, go ahead.
Let's see. In what era? Because if we're talking back in the day, it's like Kelly Kapowski. You know what I mean? Like all-time crushes, stuff like that.
She was a minor.
No, she wasn't.
She was in high school.
She was like 28 filming that shit. And I was in middle school, so relax. No, it'd have to be Tiffany. Ever since I met her, I can't imagine anybody else. Who's yours?
Medusa.
So you could turn into a snake? Rock hard.
Medusa seems like a real freak. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
You look at her and you turn into a snake, right?
If you make eye contact, but who makes eye contact during sex? Not me. I gotta flip down. Turn around.
You laid it down, you flipped it,
Eat
and
that
you
fucking
reversed
headboard.
it.
Eat that fucking headboard, Medusa. Let me grab those snakes. I will show you that stone.
Oh, all right. Chisel this.
Say what now?
You chisel rocks.
What do you mean?
So when you shape a rock, you chisel it. You know what chisel is?
You ever watch somebody blow glass?
Yes.
I bet you have.
Okay. What the fuck is happening, dude? And I'm running off 2 hours sleep. Next up, at UFC Vegas 105, we have the featured fight of the evening. We have Cortavius Romeus taking on Chang Ho Lee. Cortavius Romeus, 9-3 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off the decision loss in his UFC debut. He's taking on Chang Ho Lee, 10-1 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He is on that 4-fight win streak. Cortavius is a solid grappler. He's got decent striking, good power, heavy kicks. He doesn't really throw a ton of combinations, but he will throw hard. He'll move forward. His takedowns are solid. He does a really good job shooting and then re-shooting. When he hits the ground, he's going to land some strikes and then look for an actual submission instead of just hanging out for control. He's coming off a decision loss to Gaston Bolanos in his UFC debut where he got 4 takedowns, but he was outstruck. He's taking on Chang Ho Lee, well-rounded guy who prefers to move forward and strike. He will close the distance by literally just marching forward and throwing 1-2s. He's going to feint a lot, which can get people out of sorts, but he likes to come up heavy with overhands or even work in a takedown or two. His takedowns are not great, and neither is his takedown defense, but his submission defense is pretty good, and he's got a good enough get-up game. He also thinks pretty highly of himself going on this tangent about how he's going to be the Korean Khabib. I'm picking Cortavius here. I don't think Chang's that good. I think he's a little overrated. That whole Korean Khabib thing is nonsense. Remember Anshul Jubilee said all that same stuff just a few months ago. I think we've seen from Cortavius that he can be a good pressure guy. He can get the takedowns going. He'll shoot. He'll reshoot. He hasn't quite proven anything just yet, but at plus 150, and the fact that he's a solid underdog that can grind against somebody who I think is overrated, I think Cortavius gets it done. What do you think, Jake? Yep, boy.
I honestly think, and I put it on Twitter, that this is some of the best matchmaking possibly of the year. I think this is a top 15 matchmaking situation of the year because both these guys kind of want to do the same thing. A little bit sloppy with the striking, but they want to get to the takedowns. They want to get to the control. And once they get there, they're kind of both finishers in that type of position. Cortavius, a little bit too sloppy in his last matchup. What was it, 30-27s across the board with a 30-26 mixed in. Honestly, that fight felt a little bit closer than what the scorecards say. He had his moments in that fight, and he never stopped working. I mean, he never fucking stopped working to try and get himself back in the fight. Chang Ho Lee is a former lock of the week. He won that fight versus, Zhang Lao or whatever. Close fight. A lot of people didn't think that he won that fight, but it was his tenacity, the big knees that he kept landing in the clinch. Both these guys kind of wanted to do the same thing. I like Chang Ho Lee to be a little bit cleaner in those matchups. The only thing I hate about Cortavius that got him in trouble a couple times in his last fight is he does love that triangle choke. He loves the arm bar. And if you're not getting it, a lot of times you just kind of end up on your back. And last time, he got lucky because against Gaston, he was against a kickboxer, right, who kind of just got out of that position, was still out grappling a little bit at times, but really wanted to strike. If you're trying to throw up that shit against Chang Ho Lee and he ends up on top of you, he gets on your back, you're probably going to stay there. So I think this is going to be a fun matchup, a back and forth. The scrambles should be wild. Both these guys are absolutely dogs. If Cortavius is able to pull this out, I'm not going to be crazy surprised. But I just think Chang Ho Lee is a little bit more refined at this point in his career. They kind of want to do the same thing, and I think Chang Ho Lee does it just a little bit better. But I think this is going to be a really fun fight and could be the fight of the night. And I think Chang Ho Lee kind of pulls this shit out. I do have a little bit of a, not a flyer bet on this one. I'll give a free bet here. I put, I think it's plus 400, either fighter to win by submission, because I think either one of these guys could get caught in something. Not real likely, plus 400. You can play both sides with it. That's what I played for this fight, but Chang Ho Lee's going to be my pick.
I get it. I mean, I get it. He wants to wrestle. He's calling himself the Korean Khabib. He'll move forward. He's got the cleaner record of the two, but I don't know. There's just something about the dog in Cortavius, and I think Chang's
dogs.
just...
I mean, if you didn't see a dog in Chang Ho Lee in his last fight, then I don't know what the fuck. Maybe you are a little bit anti-Asian. I don't know.
No, it's everything, right? Everything.
This must have been a tough call for you, this one.
And then for that reason, I think they both lose. No. I mean, I think Cortavius is just going to be a little bit better. I think the shooting, reshooting is what I love. Takes a shot, doesn't get it, bang, right behind it's another shot. Grinding, moving, making stuff happen. $7,800 in DraftKings Fantasy. I think he will work for that money, and I think he could potentially be worth that money. Chang Ho Lee, same thing if he gets the wrestling going. If he lives up to the Korean Khabib moniker, $8,400 could be worth that as well.
Explain what you think moniker means.
I mean, context clues will get that done. It's pretty straightforward. The optimizer will tell you what it thinks is going to happen. The fight simulator will tell you what it thinks will happen. And the artificial intelligence will tell you what it thinks will happen as well. You can check out all of those tools. You can check out the picks, the bets, and everything else at wewantpicks.com. Next up, At UFC Vegas 105, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have Patrick Sabatini taking on Joanderson Brito. Pat Sabatini, 19-5 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He is alternating wins and losses. He's taking on Joanderson Brito, 17-4 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off that close decision loss to William Gomez. So it's a tough fight, tough time breaking down a Joanderson Brito fight because... no, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, Maz hitting you hard, huh? How's it feel eating all that? Do you even react? Does your body even react to something like that? If I eat that, I'm like, ooh.
I guess we'll find out.
It's just another day.
2 o'clock in the morning. What happens there? So, but what I was gonna say is breaking down a Joanderson Brito fight can always be a little tricky because he is an athletic grappler at his core, but because he discovered power in his hands, he's just turning into a guy that's going to move forward, bomb away. He's looking for knockouts. He's looking for finishes. He's coming forward. He is doing everything possible to win those fights. Historically, you could say he's got some cardio issues, but his cardio looked pretty good in his last fight. He wings massive punches from his hips. He throws huge, heavy kicks. He's got no regard for what comes back his way. He averages more than 3 takedowns per fight, but he can be taken down if you pressure him. He is coming off that close loss to William Gomez where he was chasing the knockout. He had the bigger moments, and if that fight was in Vegas, he would have gotten the decision because he was the one looking for the finish. He's taking on Pat Sabatini. Dangerous grappler. Very good wrestling. Solid top pressure when he is on top. His grappling is incredible. And he's always live for a submission. He does have some technical striking, but he can be hittable. He's a little bit stiff. And you could argue that he's chinny with his 2 UFC losses being by knockout. He's averaging almost 4 takedowns per fight and fewer than 2 significant strikes landed per minute. That is an insanely low number for a guy that has as many fights as he has. And that tells you he's not striking very long. He's immediately looking to grapple. He's coming off that quick submission win over Jonathan Pierce. And this fight has trap written all over it. Joanderson's got a ton of power. He's got plenty of knockouts. Pat's 2 UFC losses were by knockouts. So you can just very quickly be like, all right, Joanderson knocks people out. Pat's been knocked out. Done. But Joanderson Brito also isn't great off of his back. Pat Sabatini is a different level of grappler. He's not Jonathan Pierce with just empty wrestling. Pat Sabatini has wrestling and insanely good jiu-jitsu. Brito could 100% knock out Pat Sabatini without question. Sabatini could absolutely submit Joanderson Brito without question. I think the safest bet on this is fight does not go the distance. I do think we're going to get a finish on one side or the other. And as Jacob has been saying this entire breakdown, he would not be surprised by any outcome here. I am going to pick Joanderson because, okay, he's got the better hands. He's got good wrestling. He's dangerous as shit. It is Las Vegas. So I got to go Joanderson Brito. But if Pat Sabatini avoids the chaos on the feet and starts grinding and getting this to the ground, it's going to be a problem for Joanderson. Joanderson is going to be the pick. What do you think, Jakey boy?
So if Pat sleeps Brito, you're not going to be...
That would be surprising. If he catches him on his feet, just...
If Brito subs Pat...
That would not be surprising. Joanderson's got crazy
you
submissions.
dumb bitch. You were a stupid.
Pat shoots a takedown. Joanderson guillotines him.
He is not gonna fucking sub Pat fucking Sabatini. I tell you that. I have history, long history with both of these gentlemen. I'm a fan of both these guys. I was just like I fucking was telling you guys about Loopy before anybody. Nobody knew about Loopy. I was telling you guys about Loopy. That she was a future champion, and every single fight, I'm like, Loopy. And then she starts losing. I fade her, and I pay the consequences for my action. I admit that, right? Loopy showed up. She won that fight. I did the same thing with Pat Sabatini. Before his UFC debut, I said, I can't wait. Pat Sabatini is you guys don't understand how fucking tough this dude is. You guys do not get it. He is a future champion. I fucking love Pat Sabatini. And I was backing him. And then he starts losing, and I'm like, oh, fuck. What do I do now? Right? And we're in the same situation where it's like, you do. It should be very easy. Joanderson Brito, he's got grappling. He's got some wrestling, right? And he's got crazy KO power. And we've seen Pat Sabatini get slept. And it should be very simple, cut and dry. Pat Sabatini is going to close the distance, and he's going to get knocked out. But if that does not fucking happen, and I don't think it's going to fucking happen, okay? Pat Sabatini is by far and you can take this to the fucking bank. I don't give a fuck. By far the best grappler at 145, and it's not even fucking close. Not only is he a finisher on the ground, but his control is out of this fucking world. If he gets his fucking hands on Joanderson Brito and he gets him to the ground, that dude is fucking going nowhere. He is going nowhere. Just like fucking bone saws. I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes simply. Damn, you're going nowhere. That is fucking Pat Sabatini when he gets his hands on you. So if Joanderson Brito doesn't get that fucking takedown, or doesn't get that fucking knockout in the first 30 seconds, and Pat gets this takedown, that dude's fucking going nowhere. And if he does try to go anywhere, because he's probably going to try to scramble, Pat will choke him the fuck out. And I'm not even worried if they get out of the first round, because Pat, if he can survive the first 30 seconds, what do strikers do? They get even more aggressive to start the second round. Joe Anderson's going to load up even more to start the second round. And Pat, once he gets in the flow of the fight, his level changes get even better. And you can watch his fights and see that. You just got to survive that first shot. And if he gets on this dude's hips, he is fucking going nowhere. And he's probably going to get submitted. But I would not be crazy surprised if Joe Anderson's able to just kind of stall out, go all anti-submission defense, and Pat wins a decision. So I like Pat to get it done. I did play it a little bit both ways. Obviously, there is a little, I'm still a little bit concerned about Pat and that chin the first whatever. But the level of grappling that Pat has, and you've heard Paul Felder. Paul Felder's trained with all those guys. He talked about Sean Brady, all that stuff. You think Sean Brady has control over those dudes at 170? Pat is even better with his control against people at 145. He's a fucking animal. He's going to get his hands on this guy. He's going to take him down. He might submit him. He might just fuck with him for 15 minutes. But I like Brito. I'm going Patty. I'm back on the Patty train, baby.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I went the other side with it because I think Joe Anderson just has more ways to win, and Pat really just has sort of one path to victory there. But I opened it up by saying this has trap written all over it. There's going to be a lot of people, if Pat does what he does and does get his wrestling going, a lot of people talking about, I was going to make $400 million, and then Joe Anderson Brito, leg of my parlay lost. I would not parlay Joe Anderson Brito. If you want to bet on him, there's definitely a lot of different bets that you could experiment with. I would not be parlaying.
We just
this
saw,
card.
and I don't want to make too much of a comparison here, but we just saw last week, I warned people about Jamal Emmers and the way that he throws strikes. He gets very aggressive in his striking, and if he did not respect the takedowns of Fly, he was going to get fucking taken down. And anybody that had Jamal Emmers and everything, including Angelo, had to be scared out of their fucking mind when Fly picks this dude up on the level change over an overextended shot, takes him down, and Jamal is very fucking lucky he got his shoulder into that position and got out from Fly being on his back. Even if Pat gets in that position that soon, this fight's over. Burrito's going nowhere.
I couldn't, watching that back, I could not believe that Jamal Emmers got out of that. That was basically a full 100% rear naked choke. He was just like a half an inch too far over. And that's the difference between getting and not getting it.
I mean, he just fell backwards, gave up his back, both hooks in, and then Jamal somehow just kind of went, and just fucking got his shoulder out just a little bit. And obviously Fly was a little bit stupid trying to hold on to that non-choke or whatever, but that's just kind of what he does. Pat's not going to do something like that.
No, that was dicey. You did nail that, like what could happen perfectly, and something similar could happen here. Joe Anderson is coming off that loss, though, and sometimes we do see people sort of overcompensate. Joe Anderson
knows that he knows that Pat's chinny. He knows he's got power, and Brito, he's a fucking, I mean, this dude's a wild fucking dude. I mean, there's nobody that overthrows more than Joe Anderson fucking Brito. And the second Pat sees that fucking look in his eye, Pat's got those level changes, man.
Listen, I'll be, I don't quite have any action yet on this fight. I'll probably, the round line's 1.5, so I'm not going to do under that, but I might throw something on, does not go the distance, something to that effect. I did. No, great. Spoiler alert. And if you do want to check out all the other picks and bets, just go to WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. It's only $10 for an entire month.
It's minus 190 now. I got it minus 150.
And you're going to beat the line movement because we will send you push notifications to your phone when we place bets. You don't need to be a premium member, though. We'll send you push notifications no matter what. They just won't be the actual bets themselves, but you will be notified of crazy things that happen, like this last weekend when the Joe Pyfer fight canceled a few hours before. We said, hey guys, thank you for downloading the app. Check your shit because this fight was just dropped. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's $10 for an entire month. Next up, at UFC Vegas 105, we have the main event of the evening. We have Josh Emmett coming back after knocking out Bryce Mitchell cold a year ago, and he's taking on Lerone Murphy in just Lerone's second UFC main event. Josh Emmett, 19-4 in his career. He is 3-2 in his last 5, and I mentioned coming off that insane loud knockout over Bryce Mitchell. He's taking on Lerone Murphy, undefeated at 15-0 in his career, and as I mentioned, this is his second main event. Josh Emmett is a wrestler. He wrestled at a high level, wrestled in college, and he started his career as a wrestler. And then over time, like so many wrestlers do, he discovered he had some power. He has 14 fights in the UFC. He has 12 knockdowns in those 14 fights. That includes losses. Josh Emmett very clearly has very real power in his hands, and we have seen that time and time again. The problem is, while he is an amazing wrestler, he doesn't quite use it. He's not shooting as many takedowns as he should, and he mostly is just a striker now. And he's fighting a very good striker in Lerone Murphy. He's fast, he's quick, he's clean, he moves incredibly well, and he does have some power too. He will light up your body, then he'll step completely out of the pocket, move away, reset. The footwork is nasty. He's very dangerous on the feet. His takedown defense is listed as a low 48%, but he does a really good job scrambling and getting back to his feet. He is coming off that scary win over Dan Ige, where he was dropped early, but stayed composed and took over. Lerone was in that safety parlay, and I was sweating the shit out of that because when he got dropped early, I was like, that's it. That's it. That's it.
Thank you.
I mean, that is it. And that was after Thank You, Dan. So that's what I get for betting against Dan. He made me sweat it out. Lerone was dropped. He was able to recover, and it's always an interesting takeaway because on one hand, it was like, this dude was dropped. There are chinks in the armor. This is not good. You could get to this guy's chin. You could knock him down. You could create a situation that is not favorable for Lerone Murphy. And on the flip side of that coin, it's he fully recovered. He worked his way out of there. He was in trouble. He didn't panic. He made his way through. So my takeaway from that is Lerone Murphy is tough. Lerone Murphy's got some dog in him. If Lerone ends up in some trouble in this fight, which he might, then Lerone Murphy can hopefully recover and work his way through. Lerone, that is a saying, dude. Get the fuck out of here. I'm Googling it now because now everybody's... Is that not a saying? Yeah, it's a saying. Jesus, dude. It's a saying.
What are you talking about?
And for you to pretend it's not a saying means that you're the one with the filthy mind. Okay?
I didn't say anything. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Lerone Murphy is the pick because I think Lerone Murphy is the better overall striker, and I think Josh Emmett is not going to use any wrestling at all. And when you don't use your wrestling, all Lerone has to worry about is the striking. Lerone knows that Josh has big power, so he's going to avoid the big power. This seems pretty straightforward to me. Lerone Murphy is the pick. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I'm going with Lerone Murphy here as well, but I mean, the year of it's just the trending of undefeated fighters, and he got dropped in the last fight. And honestly, the fight before that, he got dropped as well with that up kick. I don't know if that's the one that cracked the chin, but that up kick really hurt. I mean, he was staggering back to his corner, and he toughed out both situations. But what I worry about the Josh Emmett side, and people that want to play Josh Emmett KO and all this stuff, I get it. You want to chase it. He's a powerful guy. Do what you got to do. I get it. Lerone Murphy is the better fighter. He should be able to stay out of danger because Josh Emmett, for the most part, the reason why his power doesn't work against people like Ilya and stuff like that, and it does work against people like Bryce, is it's just pretty much just a big overhand right that's not really set up. And the people that aren't natural strikers, they don't really see it coming, and he can catch people with that. Ige caught him in a combination, right? He was in tight and caught him at the end of a combination, 2 or 3 punch combination. I can't remember what it is. And if Josh Emmett comes in, pressures this guy, and gets him in situations where he's forcing a brawl and throwing actual combinations, that's where he needs to have his power. But if he comes in off the high of, I want another highlight, and I want to knock another guy out, and I want to fight for the title, and I got to make a statement, he comes in just swinging just wild right hands over and over. Lerone Murphy should be able to see that shit coming. He's an experienced striker. He's a good guy. He should be able to counter that and beat up a guy like Josh Emmett. But if he comes in to pressure him and finds something in a combination, that's probably going to be his best bet. 5 rounds, Josh is probably going to be there for all 5 rounds. Lerone Murphy historically is not the most dangerous guy. Josh Emmett historically is a pretty durable guy when he's not in a Yair triangle type situation. So honestly, I think the bet that I played, and Angelo, guys, go sign up for premium because I try to give you as many plays as I can for free. And Angelo really kind of pissed him off. So for me to do this, to give him for free, a little kickback, go sign up for premium because there's a lot more plays. I got a ton of props this week, and the props fucking killed last week. Only $10 a month, WeWantPicks.com. Josh Emmett, inside the distance, decision no action is plus 150. It's half the money line, but if it goes to a decision, which I think a lot of people think if Lerone wins, it is going to go to a decision. You're just going to get your money back. And if you don't trust the chin of Lerone, you like the power of Josh Emmett, you're not going to get the KO odds for Josh Emmett, but it's kind of hedging both ways. You're still going to get plus money, plus 150 on if he gets a KO, and you're going to hedge it with your money back on a decision for Lerone. I like that value there. I'll take it win or loss. It is what it is. So, but I got to go with Lerone. He should be the better fighter.
That's a great bet. I agree with that entirely because for Lerone to win, he's going to stay on the outside, just dot up Josh. And if Lerone has a dominant performance, Josh Emmett's face is going to look like hamburger meat. But he's probably not going to finish him because Josh is tough. He's durable. And so it's just the amount of damage on his face will dictate how well Lerone did. But either way, Lerone's dancing around on the outside.
Honestly, the best thing that Josh could do is spend the whole first round shooting takedowns.
Yes.
Get this guy off his game, get his eyes going down, get him worried about the takedowns. And that sets it. Because if you come in and just bomb right hands, it's not going to, you got to set up that shit.
That's what I was saying. If you don't wrestle, then your opponent only has to worry about one thing. If you do wrestle, now he has to worry about 2 things. And worrying about those things are going to get you in sort of a mind pretzel. When you and I fought, the thing you said afterwards was like, I can't believe how many decisions you have to make it's crazy the shit your brain has to do.
I literally was just it was the overwhelming amount of information was my mind was just blank. I literally was just I'm just gonna fucking halfway put my hands up. I'm gonna walk forward and I'm just gonna fucking see what happens here. And I'm just gonna try and pump out. I didn't think about anything. I didn't try to make reads. It was just like pop, pop, pop. Here we go, pop, pop. Oh, my nose is bleeding. Oh.
Well, and obviously there's extremes here, right? Lerone does this for a living, but there are millions of little decisions that have to be made in a fist fight. And if you eliminate a bunch of those decisions because your opponent is not going to shoot, has proven he's not going to shoot, and you don't have to worry about it, that just made your job a little easier.
Well, I said the same thing for the Drew Dober fight. I said if he wants to have success, show Manuel Torrez stuff early. Show him level changes. Don't let him just stand there and make fucking reads because you saw what happened. Drew Dober just stood in front of the guy, and Manuel Torrez like, okay, here's a 1-2 down the fucking pipe. Good night.
Yeah. I did feel bad for him. I mean, that was the Jalton Almeida, Curtis Blades knockout on the ground. Just when you hit him in the side of the head 100 times over. But
yeah, fucking Beltran wanted that dude to fucking die, man.
he
went in to stop it and then was like, wait a second. It's like, what do you mean, wait a second? He didn't he just fucking comatose hanging onto a fucking leg.
Yeah, he's not moving his body. He's just frozen in time. But this could be, it could be a competitive fight if Josh fought to his full potential and his full abilities, but that's not likely what we're going to get here. This should be Lerone Murphy's second main event win. Check it all out at WeWantPicks.com. And after you go to the website, go to your app store, search We Want Picks. You can download the app. The app has everything you could ever want or need. Everything on the website is available inside the app. And then on top of it, push notifications, not just for when we place picks and bets, but also when things in the sport happen. Inside the app, you'll have access to the DraftKings Optimizer, the Fight Simulator, the Data Analyzer, where you can go do your own research. If you like to do your own research and dig into stats and deep dive and look out to future events, that's inside the Data Analyzer as well as a full tape study. The Line Movement Tracker will give you the opening odds, current odds, win probability, and line movement for every fighter on every card. The Prop Hunter is a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. And it's more than just me and Handsome Jake. We got Bet Sam, we got Artem, and we've got an artificial intelligence, all three of whom did quite well last week. And finally, you want a couple bucks, we'll send you a couple bucks. Use the affiliate link, sign up. We'll give you a little bit of kickback. Jakey boy, any last words for the people?
I just want to say lock of the week I think it's probably going to be out tomorrow, but we may wait until Wednesday. It's I will say this week is an interesting situation. I tell you guys, obviously lock of the week's always a free pick, and it's always a free demonetized. I work fucking hard on those videos, and they're all demonetized. It's a free pick. I do everything for the people. But I always try to tell you guys, like, if you want the early stuff, sometimes lines move, make sure you become a premium member, because a lot of times, and this is the week you're gonna wish that you were a premium member. So support the cause, become a premium member. Even if you don't use anything, it's a good way to show support. And I work hard, and Angelo works twice as hard as me, and Josh, the web guy, works twice as hard. I mean, probably 3 or 4 times as hard as me as well. So if you guys want to support the cause, become a premium member. We appreciate that. If you don't want to do anything else before you go, like the stream. I mean, that's the best thing. These streams probably get the least amount of likes on the channel because we don't really ask for them. But I ask for likes on my Lock of the Week videos, and you guys almost get like 1,500 likes on that. So if we can get a bunch of likes on this, we'd appreciate that, and we appreciate all the support. And I think we're gonna rip off a nice little stretch here.
Well said, Jakey boy. Appreciate every last one of you. We filmed this on a Monday night instead of a Tuesday night, so thank you for being here. Numbers were solid. Hopefully we have another great week. We appreciate you being here, and good luck with everything the rest of this week. See ya.
And also...
Oh. No, I'll wait. I didn't hit it yet.